Cocoa Puffs.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Dynamic Duo. I'm Travis Snell.
Kyle Smith.
Liam Grogan.
And now you do the last names.
Yeah. Because we're balling.
Today, we're here for actually something I look forward to every month. Just like the bad guys, we are here to round up the news. That's my favorite thing to say, actually, in all my podcasting. I don't know why. But this is the news from the last time we did it until now. We do all the breakdown news of April because, you know, these guys are too busy, you know, to come week. So, like, we throw it all in a nice, like, big buffet. Instead of giving you little meals, you go to a nice buffet, everything's there. So let's talk about our favorite thing that kicked off last month. BVS box office, our favorite thing to talk about. We're going to be talking about for the rest of our life. So, you and I, when we were predicting, we said 175 million for sure, and we thought it had a chance at doing 200 million the opening weekend. It did 166 million. And obviously, we've talked a little
which is a lot lower than we thought, but I really think that has a lot to do with the overall quality of that film.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I think Civil War will beat it.
Yeah, at the time of this recording,
so
and we can talk about Civil War a little bit. At the time of this recording, we don't know the box office because we record this right before.
But we have seen it.
Oh,
we're pretty sweet.
We saw it a month early, bitches.
Kind of a big deal.
I kind of wish it wouldn't come out so I can keep dropping that in conversations with people.
Yeah,
because
at the time of this recording,
I'm really excited about Civil War. Yeah, I saw it. Fan screening. I'm pretty cool.
At the time of this recording, tomorrow when we wake up, we can no longer say that. You saw Civil War, you loser. I saw it too. Like, but I know that's definitely. It was a nice experience to know that. But even Deadpool, though, with domestic, it's made more than BVS. So are you, I guess, we're just not surprised about this?
No.
I'm just talking about this because we recorded right before the box office.
What was the actual date that BVS came out?
March 25th, but then like 24th for the Thursday.
Yeah, okay. So that's
why we didn't talk about it, because like right at the tail end. We missed
it had a month to make its money before Civil War came out. If Civil War would have dropped last week, or the week prior, it would have absolutely slaughtered BVS.
Well, BVS has already been slaughtered. It dropped out of the top 5 like 2 weeks ago.
I know, but imagine if a Civil War had opened up. Yeah. Like a terrible Melissa McCarthy movie by all accounts. I haven't seen it. No, I should say that I dislike Melissa McCarthy. The Spy was actually quite funny.
The Boss.
It's where she plays like
a vulgar,
like a mob boss for like Girl Scouts.
And she's vulgar and she's funny, but she's mean.
But everyone loves Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, that's true. And
I like her. I have nothing against her. I just am sick and tired of seeing the same fucking thing from her over and over. And that's why actually, despite the trailer looking like shit, at least Ghostbusters, it actually looks like she's not that character. But it just sucks that it's...
Did you hear what she just came out with? I guess this is kind of...
You dropped a rap album with Drake.
Did she really?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, shit, really? No, she came out.
And go listen to Views.
And she blasted the trailer for Goosebumps. Ghostbusters.
She blasted, really?
Yeah, she was like...
it's not that funny.
No, it is. Imagine in an interview like, see if Ghostbusters coming. You know what I want to talk about? That Goosebumps trailer? That was a piece of shit. Melissa, like, the movie's already come out. Like, why are you talking about a trailer? No, that trailer was a piece of shit.
Yeah, you think Ghostbusters bad? Watch Goosebumps.
That's why I was laughing. I'm just picturing her in my mind like, no, this isn't bad. It's not Goosebumps.
But
bad.
She even said, she's like, yeah, that trailer was terrible. She's like,
but do you feel like they might be saying that even if the film sucks?
Well, so... She very well could be. For the report that I read is like she actually, after she saw it, she phoned up
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. No, she phoned R.L. Stein himself. No, she phoned the studio and said, "Have you guys seen this trailer? Like, it's terrible. Like, it almost looks like it's gonna be like we're gonna be dead on arrival." Because like they talk about it's a reboot, but then they bring up like it's a bad trailer.
Yeah, no. At first they make it seem like a sequel. Yeah, because they're like 20 years ago these heroes. Sorry, this is a little off topic, but we actually haven't talked about that. Like 20 years ago, these 4 men saved the whatever, and then it's like, but there's a new team. So
and that doesn't address like it's like a reboot. So like it was just weird. She's like, yeah, like it was terrible.
And I think we've talked about this. Like we're not huge Ghostbusters fans. We like the film, but I was more excited when they're like, 20 years ago, and they're gonna play it off like a sequel. I don't like a reboot. I would have liked using the surviving members of Ghostbusters to pass it down. I can't imagine how the Ghostbusters fans feel.
I wouldn't mind if Ernie Hudson didn't come back.
That's fine. Fuck him.
Did you hear what he said when
piece of shit.
Yeah, he's an awful person.
Like, bring back Murray and Aykroyd. Like, I'm not a biggest Murray fan, but he's very valuable and he should be in it. But I don't, even as someone that's not a big Murray fan, he's coming back as like a guy who disputes ghosts and like a hot dog sales. Like, there's all these rumors that they're just playing these shit roles, and it's like, so you're gonna use Dan Aykroyd.
And apparently, it was a big thing to get him in it. Like, he did not want to be in it.
No, he didn't want to be in it until Ivan Reitman died.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. It's just the whole. I think it is already dead on arrival. Mm-hmm. It came out when we recorded this. Like it's literally the most disliked YouTube trailer of all time.
It's like I think it has more dislikes than Rebecca Black's Friday.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's
yikes.
And and I'm someone that doesn't love Ghostbusters, so I imagine people that love it probably feel even worse. And to me, that trailer is awful, and I have no reason to go see it. If I hear enough people say, "Oh, you gotta go see it. It looks great," awesome. But I might catch it on Netflix or something. But I don't think I'm gonna see it.
I agree. I don't think I'll see it. After watching that trailer, I didn't think it was going to be good at all.
No.
It kind of just ruined the whole thing for me, and it kind of it just looked kind of lame. And I'm not trying to discredit the actresses.
I like all the people, and this is not a whole thing fuck it because it's women. It's fuck it because it's not funny.
I think it's a perfect storm of you're gonna have a subsection that do dislike it because it's women. Then you have a subsection that dislike it because it's a remake. Then you have a subsection of no, it's just a shitty trailer. And then you have a whole other thing that's just I don't even like the Ghostbusters. Yeah. It's the perfect storm of no one. Everybody can find something they don't like about this.
Even though I think the whole the people that dislike the women thing to me is a bunch of bullshit because there's that people same thing for Force Awakens and the same thing for John Boyega of there can't be a black stormtrooper. Yeah. And it's it really worked because it's the third biggest film of all time. So I think that it's fine, but I do agree.
Can't have a woman lead. Only made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Imagine if it would have been a male lead. Would have been 2 clearly.
Yeah. But I think you make a good point about all this stuff, and it's coming out at a time where there's lots of good movies coming out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last year would have been better because, truthfully, the only big movies I can remember is Jurassic World, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man, which wasn't even that big. It made money, but last year, but this year there's fucking everything. Which, for you, yes, Warcraft. Finding Dory, there's a Conjuring 2 sequel, and I'm not even going to mention...
I don't think the Conjuring 2 is going to make that much money. I think
it's going to fucking kill Conjuring.
Do you think so?
First Conjuring, really? Had this tracking, it's it's going to do good, and then it was here's the door, fuck you, and it kicked it wide open. And people fucking... That is everyone true, loves that first one. That
is true, and it was a decent film, but horror movies never really do that
But that's why I think this one will, because that one already did good. And it's been... It's funny... James Wan horror movies do good. Insidious does good. The Saw franchise did good. Any movie he touches...
there's no reason Saw should have done that good.
I like Saw. That's a different topic.
Okay.
But he has a track record of proving successful. And Conjuring, I think, to me, is the best horror film in this past decade. To be honest.
Babadook.
No, I still like Conjuring better. Because the Babadook ending, to me, is a little rushed. And I felt a little unsatisfied. I like it where The Conjuring has a good ending.
I felt The Conjuring was a little paint by numbers. It was very well done, and it was scary. It kind of hit the right beats. But The Babadook really scared me. Whereas The Conjuring did, but I kind of every time I was there's gonna be a scary part, I knew it was coming. So
did you see
I
the
just
theater
don't watch
though?
any of them at all.
That's where
I know you really should see horror movies in theaters,
but
there's so many shitty ones, I just can't spend
That's
money.
I would say, Conjuring in the theater felt like a ride. It was great. It was fantastic. But
although, this is also news, so far it's just in France, but WoW is offering, for people that play WoW, to go see the movie, they're giving you a free subscription and then a free character transfer.
Wow.
Which literally, for them, costs nothing. But, They said it's just for the European servers. But
you should see our group chat. Liam defends.
I will defend
Warcraft.
WoW until it comes out and it wins.
I cannot wait.
Razzie
wins nothing.
It's very soon. But okay, let's reel us back because we're off track. We're talking about US box office. I'm just surprised we live in a world that you had a Batman vs Superman movie and it's not going to make $1 billion. At this point, it's not going to make $1 billion, and that's crazy. And I know you always say don't measure it by that, but that movie done right should be a $1.5 billion to $2 billion.
Done right.
No, exactly. I agree.
Okay, Transformers makes a shit ton of money
every time.
Are terrible movies. I enjoyed the first one. I was this was a really fun movie, and then everyone that came after has just been garbage, and that proves how shitty this movie really is.
And why do you what do you think that? Because I personally think I would rather watch, and you could like the first Transformers, but I'd rather watch the Batman vs Superman over any Transformers. I hate them all. I just literally want to slip my
I think it's the audience that they can cater to for Transformers.
Yeah. Transformers, you also know what you're getting. Yeah. You know what? It's going to be a shitty movie. Yeah. It's good, but it's going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours long, whatever, of just robots fighting each other.
Yeah.
Maybe Mark Wahlberg's going to be in there. There's going to be some hot chick.
Hey, look at all these robots.
Yeah, and they're you know what? Whatever. It's
even look at kids. They'll look at these trucks and be like, "Oh, I want that." And
Whereas you look at Batman vs Superman, it was super dark. Kids aren't going to like it,
and I don't
because it was too dark.
But I don't even say kids. Yeah, I don't even think kids because I saw dark stuff. It depends depends your kid, but I think it's too dense for a kid. There's way too much to sit. And I even say that about The Dark Knight at times. I don't like my sister when she was younger. She didn't like that because it's like it's not a kid's movie. When they're trying, even though it's not done right, when they're trying to hit a storyline of does the Superman work in this world, that's not really going to play to a kid. Usually it's Superman beat the fuck out of this villain.
And it's the moral thing. It's like, well, what do we do with a godlike creature? Where is the line between real justice, vigilantism, and where is that done? And there's all these nice parallels that are answered, but Zack Snyder is obviously an idiot because he didn't...
I would call him an idiot.
I think he's an idiot. When we'll get to that other news at the end, why I think he's an idiot.
Watch your hands.
But there's so many like great questions, but they're not done properly. They're not answered. There's and it's funny. The more I think about it, the more I dislike Jesse Eisenberg. I respect him because he took a chance.
Yeah,
didn't work for me, but it doesn't work for anybody. It just didn't work out.
Some people like him still.
Some people did like him. I actually
and you know what? Like, and I won't take that away from you because
film's very subjective.
Yeah, we were talking prior for the last Daredevil season, I think the actress that played Daredevil did a pretty good job.
I mean,
Daredevil. Sorry, I meant
Ellie Young. Yeah.
But I thought her accent was a little all over the place. So like,
and he thinks that,
and that kind of took me out of it. Whereas you guys don't.
Yeah.
So
I think it's perfection.
So acting is subjective a little bit, with the exception of like you can always tell if somebody's like a really really poor actor or actress, whatever.
Yeah.
But like it just, you don't know what Superman's doing. The more that I think about it, you don't really understand Batman's motivations.
Well,
we know it because we've read the comics. If you didn't read the comics and you went into that blind,
I understand his motives. They're just kind of bullheaded instead of like, hey, what should we do about Superman?
Greatest detective.
Yeah, what should we do about Superman? He's like, let's just fucking kill Superman. You know, like it's not like really discussed. He's just kind of like decided we're killing Superman.
I think that shows a weak mind that instead of going about like the
civil way of dealing with things.
Not necessarily the civil way, but like as a director when you and a writer when you're writing a script that you have all these lofty ideas, but then your solution is still violence. I think that really takes credit away from telling a wonderful story. And I think people were like, Batman vs Superman, this is gonna be sick, had a big opening weekend, and then everybody saw it was like, oh no, it sucked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's obviously people like, oh, it's DC, it's gonna suck because they have a pretty shitty track record of late.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's good, it'll be great. Like Nolan's films were awesome, and they did well because they were great films, and they showed how you can take adult themes and make it successful with these characters. But Zack Snyder did not do it. It does not surprise me that it dropped.
Yeah.
It does surprise me that it did not have a
I still thought it would have hit $1 billion, even if it would have stopped dead at $1 billion.
I thought it would have hit like 700,000 or 700 million. Sorry.
700,000.
Yeah, 700,000.
Shit, we really bumped.
Yeah.
I still thought just because you're putting the biggest superheroes of all time, and I know, yes, people say like Spider-Man, Iron Man, but they're the oldest, and they're still the most mainstream, to adults and people.
But like when people say like Iron Man's like a third-rate superhero.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like
Iron Man movie.
Oh yeah, no, that's what
he is now, but like
Batman, Superman are the gold standard of superheroes. So that's why I thought just pure amount, and that's what we talked about before. If Transformers shitty movies can make that, I thought for sure that could make $1 billion.
Look at Deadpool.
I think just
Deadpool's still cleaning up
with rated R and not being in China.
Not being in China.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but I don't know a single person that didn't see Deadpool.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, yeah, we heard it sucked, so we didn't go see Batman vs Superman.
True.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go back to the point where it's just BVS is just way too dark for a bigger, grander audience.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to lose a lot of people who are just in it for the, I guess, entertainment. When you think it's going to be an entertainment watching Batman, like the world's greatest detective, and Superman is like, it's the biggest like controversial thing between a lot of people growing up. It's like, oh, Batman's so much better than Superman. And then you get remember our friend Paul, he would always be like the Superman bandwagon of all time.
He definitely was. Also, shout out to Paul Trusco, number one in our hearts, number one on your pages.
Well, that bandwagon should be over after that movie because Batman beats the show.
But like, still, I talked to
but in like the lamest way. Yeah. I also don't feel like even in that fight, Superman falls for the same thing 3 times.
But he's not that smart.
He should be.
No,
he's Superman.
Yeah,
but he's not, though.
He can literally hear people's heartbeats.
Yeah, but in the comics, to me, he's so overpowered. That's why I think he, like, falls back on his powers.
In the comics, but
that
not
should-
in this movie.
but that should-
when he's supposed to be all powerful, you
But
got
no,
beat by
I
the same thing
I think that
twice.
still translates.
Also, you have super hearing and supervision. You can see him loading the other goddamn thing, and he fumbled with it.
He was
you can
already
literally
hurt.
move so fast, you can turn the world around.
I'll defend the fight scene. I think it's still good
No,
because
there's part. I think that's the most frustrating thing as a comic book fan is that there's so many things that are like that was awesome, but that stuff's peppered in amongst all the shit.
Yeah, but see, for me, my problem with Superman is not him being naive. It's him not knowing if he wants to be a hero or not. His naivety, to me, is something that does happen a lot in the comics, and you do see it, and he does fall for stuff. That's why, to me, he's not the most strongest superhero, because he's not that smart. He just relies on his powers, because you would too if you're a fucking god, and that's why, to me, in the movies when he does that, I'm fine with that. It's just more him not being a hero. But
There's a lot of people who have issues that Batman beat Superman. They don't believe he could actually beat him. Even after watching that film, I've talked to people.
Well, I have an issue with how he beat Superman.
how? He uses kryptonite!
No, but I feel like he could have done it smarter. Like,
I don't know. I feel like it's
just
pretty
because
smart.
like he had the 3 canisters, you're like, okay, cool. You do it the once, and he's beating the shit out of Superman. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then Superman gets strong again. He punches him like through 3 walls. Sweet. Then he does the exact same thing again. It's like a boss fight in a video game where, okay, I gotta like wait for him to do like that power attack. As long as I dodge it, his blade or like his sword or whatever will be stuck in the ground, and then I can keep hitting him again. Like that felt lame. And then the fact that once he hit him again, he didn't get stronger like he did after the first bullet, and then he can spin him around, and then he's just about to pierce him in the chest, and he yells
Because he was
Martha.
already suffering from the thing.
There's just so many.
I
like,
still defend the fight scene because he has traps set up all around. He constantly goes Superman to push him and fight him.
Yeah, and like
he
when the
purposely
way that it
gets him
started
down to
was
his-
great. How it ended wasn't, and I think that's my biggest issue with that.
But
fight.
are you just saying ended because the Martha thing? Because I still
no,
like
the Martha?
the thing
No, that is terrible. That is literally the worst thing, and you cannot
But
defend that.
I'm not defending that. I'm still fine with like the spike or the spear. I'm fine with him swinging around because at that point Superman's a fucking child when he's inhaled like kryptonite the second time. That's my whole thing when you say why doesn't he get stronger, because he's
But he
inhaled
got
2
stronger
times a
after
day.
the first time.
But yeah, but that's
right
what I mean.
away.
If you get shot and you can get up and you might be okay, but if you get shot again, you're gonna be less stronger, right? If you get shot twice,
Yeah,
and that's
but
my.
I don't think he should have fallen for the same thing twice.
But that I don't
just
know.
proves like Superman's personality in this. Like,
But that's why I'm
Okay,
fine that
fair
because
enough. But then like he doesn't come back to it, and somehow Lois Lane manages to be there because
don't even.
like a newspaper which makes no money in this day and age, where they mention somehow it can just have a helicopter on beck and call.
Everyone in the city is evacuated.
we should
Yeah,
reel.
hey, hit that on it.
We should
Yeah.
reel this back because we're getting off track.
Regardless,
Because we could
Batman
talk.
vs Superman is a terrible film. So
I will not say terrible. I'll
it's
say
a terrible
mediocre.
film.
I'll say
You
mediocre.
cannot. Anybody think? I honestly like. I think I gave it like a 6 out of 10 the night that we
That's
did it.
mediocre. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go lower than that. I think
I
it's
know
a
you are because I
4.5
just listened to
out
that
of 5.
episode today, and you were like a lot more easier on. Even the fight scene, you're like that part's really really good.
And then the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, that doesn't actually make sense, and that's stupid.
Yeah. Anyways, Kylie, you want to say one last thing before we get back? Because we talked
No,
about this
I
all day.
think I agree with Liam. I don't know. I've always been on the same plane about BVS. I never really liked it from the beginning and watching it.
Yeah.
I was kind of just nope, like not for me. I thought it could have been way better, like done, and it just wasn't. It was just way too over the place.
Yeah.
So
I was not defending the film. I was defending the fight
But
scene.
you know what? If somebody
I think the
likes
fight
it,
scene's done well.
if somebody I think parts of it are,
And I think
if somebody likes it, I can't fault them for that.
No.
But I don't think anybody can say that was a good movie. But if somebody's like, you know what, I love seeing Batman fight Superman, or even the parody.
what I'm so
Ke-
stoked for. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
Kevin Smith mentions
Yeah.
it like when he saw it with Jason Mewes, and he goes, you know what? We saw Parademons, and we're like, you know what? This is the coolest thing, that the biggest part of our childhood, all these things, we get to see them on the big screen,
Yeah.
and that makes it good for us.
Yeah.
Fine, but as a movie itself, it just doesn't work, especially after seeing Civil War.
That's what I'm about to say. Like,
Yeah.
some of my friends who like BVS is like, man, like BVS is a piece of shit. Wait till you
Yeah.
watch Civil War, like.
And
Whole
also, by
other level.
no means are we Marvel fanboys.
No.
we are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, well, me and you at least are Batman to the core.
Yeah.
And then like
But then not DC.
we think Marvel's better than DC, but Batman's better than Marvel.
And I still
So-
love DC. It's just I gravitate to more of the Marvel characters too. Like I love half the X-Men more than lots of the DC people. I love Flash. I love Green Lantern. I love Manhunter. I love
I
Wonder
love
Woman.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, but like, there's a lot of people in DC I don't really give two fucks about. Aquaman, I don't hate like everyone
I
else.
like
but just
Aquaman.
like, yeah, I never read the New 52. Shazam, I fucking hate. Depends on the Green Lantern.
fair enough.
Who else is in there? Cyborg's just Cyborg.
I personally, I don't really like the X-Men. I
love the
like
X-Men.
individual X-Men. I don't necessarily like the X-Men.
Who are your individual X-Men?
Oh, I love Wolverine. I love Storm. Obviously, I love Professor X, and like I'm gonna count Magneto, Deadpool. Like, but then there's a lot of other ones that it's kind of like, oh, you're cool, but you're really only cool as a group.
But that's why I like both X-Men, because when it's done right, which sometimes movies don't do, I like that they might just be cool in a group, but that's why it's the X-Men, like, because they are.
No, yeah, like
there are certain people, like, I wouldn't read a Angel solo comic.
I wouldn't read a Cyclops solo story.
I might have writers behind it because Joss Whedon wrote him fucking so good. Have you ever read Astonishing X-Men?
No,
you should,
because I'm not really a big fan of the X-Men. So
okay, but you should. Joss Whedon wrote it. Fucking one of the best X-Men runs ever. But it depends, right? But there's people, yeah, like I love them in the X-Men, but I don't like them separately. But good thing about comics, because you want to tell us last time, DC Rebirth. It's an official thing.
It drives me nuts.
So what? Well, for Kyle's point, because you don't know, you read comics here and there, and then for people that don't know, they're rebooting DC. So like Marvel just did this past year with All New and All Different, and DC did a few.
Wasn't it like, what was the other one that they did too?
New 52, and they did
no for Marvel. Like, it was like Revolution or something.
A couple, like 5 to 8 years ago, I think now.
No, because I'm pretty sure I still have them on my comic books that I've just recently been buying.
You mean Battle Worlds?
No, Battle World was terrible. I hated
Secret
that.
Wars?
No, it was all the new Deadpools. It was like Revolution. But regardless,
that might be this. They might just use that as a slogan.
Yeah,
but
maybe that's all it was. But yeah, my issue with comic books, and I love comic books, but is like, when I first started getting into comic books, I was quite fortunate because DC New 52 had just started coming out. I think I was like 3 issues in. I went to the Calgary Comic Expo, which is phenomenal if you ever get a chance to go. My absolute favorite. And I was all stoked on it. And I was I get to actually start at the beginning of a run. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was getting the Superman, I was getting the Batman. I tried another Batman.
It's the best time to try it.
I like it. Yeah, because it's at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now that I go back to it, I have so many single issues. I wish I would just do collecteds. But that's more of a space thing because I'm moving. But I don't like, now that I am reading comics, it's like, oh, you're rebooting them all again. Like, I like what you did with the New 52 for the most part.
Yeah.
But, like, I wish they would just do not a solid reboot of everything where it's like, here's a Batman run, here's another Batman run. You can keep the same continuity, you can not. But I don't like that they just keep bringing things up. Or then, like, I was like, oh, everybody would like Spider-Man. And, like, I like Spider-Man, but he's not my favorite. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get some. Oh, but he's at, like, issue 400 right now. Like, I'm not going to go buy a whole bunch of goddamn back issues.
The new ones are good.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's one of the new ones. Maybe I'll check them out. I don't know yet. So it's like, I don't know really what I want. Like, I should say, not that I know what I want. I know what I want. But it's like, where do you start on some of these? And it's always an issue of, like, I want to get into comic books. Where do I start? It's literally like, it's like a waterfall.
But that's what the reboot is good, though, for. Because for newer people that can't jump on now.
Yes and
but
no.
then it's for people like you that just started.
But I wish they wouldn't totally reboot it, because my issue with some of the reboots is then they go and they, like, retcon things.
Yeah.
And then it's all like, oh, okay, is this the origin story for this character now? Okay, is this what they're doing? Oh, okay, that's weird that, like, oh, they're doing this with this character. And I just wish it would have been like, hey, you know what? We have a whole bunch of new issues coming out with Batman vs. Superman. We're going to who is it, Scott Snyder, that does Batman?
Now he's going to be, they did announce, thank God, at their little press conference, he's going to do All-Star Batman. So he's still writing Batman. Mm-hmm. He's just doing he's still doing one a month. So thank God. I'll read that. I don't know if
I have a little bit of an issue with Scott Snyder's run, more so as, like, some of the individual issues I thought were weak, but in the grander story. Yeah, they were great. But, yeah, no, and, like, I just wish that it would just be like, hey, here's Kevin Smith's new run of Daredevil or Green Arrow or whatever. It's like, oh, here's Josh Whedon's Ultimate X-Men. Astonishing X-Men, sorry. Yeah. Like, and it's like, I wish they would just do different runs and all smaller runs rather than do really long story arcs, because it's hard for people to get in.
I always call it the James Bond method of, like,
yeah,
no origin, just this is this person's story and go. But it is tough when you...
And for the most part, we know everybody's goddamn story. And I know they're going to do it in the new Spider-Man, but I don't want another fucking origin story.
They're not. They already said they're not.
Good. And with the new Batman, I guarantee you they do another origin story. Well, they already have one.
And I don't think they'll do another origin story with Spider-Man, because we just watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we just watched it with Tobey Maguire.
They'll mention that his uncle got shot. That's about it. Batman, I don't think they'll do that. I think the only reason they did that was just to set up the payoff for Martha. Yeah. That's the only reason.
Also, there was actually, Kevin Smith brought this up in his last podcast. I didn't even think about this. The angle that the gun's at, when he, whatever the robber is, shoots. If it was actually in this one.
You're talking about BVS?
In BVS. When he actually shoots her, the angle, like, it's at the base of the jaw, so it would blow the back of her head off in front of Bruce.
But they're not going to show that.
No, they're not going to show that.
PG-13
But that happened, which is like he just and then like so yeah, her eyes like wouldn't be like Bruce. No, she's done. Her brain just exploded.
No,
on the back
she
of her
doesn't
head.
say Bruce. His dad does.
Or her dad does, and then
Dean Morgan.
Yeah, great. Which was the only reason I was like, oh, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I'm really hoping some people have caught up online. Have you ever read or watched the Flashpoint Paradox?
Yeah.
On Netflix, have you read it?
No, I haven't read it.
It's a good read, but like you know the story of how in the Ultimate Universe, his dad is Batman, and then his mom is the Joker.
Whoa! What?
In Flashpoint Paradox, maybe you gotta rewatch it again. Because what happens is it was an alternate universe, and what happens is in this universe is Bruce Wayne gets shot in the alley instead of them, and his dad picks up the man, like he becomes Batman because he wants to avenge crime, but then his mother goes crazy.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
becomes the Joker.
Yeah,
and so these things.
Yeah.
I don't know if DC will have the balls. I wish they would because they have parallel universe.
I just pictured when you said that Heath Ledger in like the nurse outfit, pregnant, and Christian Bale going, "It will be ours."
But there's a part of me that really hopes they have the balls to pull off and do that because you have Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who's a fucking great actor, and her one movie could be a good Batman, and Lauren Cohen from Walking Dead. If they said, "Hey, we're gonna have a movie where she's a Joker just for one movie," I'd be like, "Fucking sign me up!" Like Flashpoint Paradox. If you haven't read or watched it on Netflix, you have to. It is fantastic. But Kyle, as a person that reads comics here and there, most of the time he reads my hand-me-downs, to be honest. Like I say, oh, you should read this. But like, does this incline you to start reading comics if they say, hey, we're rebooting it, we're starting all these issues over? So if you're like, hey, I really want to read a Harley Quinn, Suicide Squad, a Batman one.
I feel like you still miss out on what everyone else has read as well too. Like even though it's up to date, but people still look at the Long Halloween. It's like, oh, well, I've never read it. It's like, oh, but there's like a new reboot of Batman that you can go and read. And you're like, but like everyone talks about this specific comic book. Yeah. So I think that kind of just changes.
So you're more inclined still to wait for like a collection and read it together then?
Yeah, I think so too. I think that way's a lot better. I don't know. I've never read just single issues. Is that how that works?
Yeah, that comes out once a month, maybe once every couple months. And it's like
those.
Yeah,
and
like
they're about like 30 pages.
Liam's playing those content. That's one of these things like
I feel like it's almost kind of like Netflix where you
it is.
Instead of watching it's super corny, but I watched the 100. It's amazing. I'm over it.
That's what I hear.
Every week they just begin coming up, or I guess like regular TV shows. You're always waiting for the.
Yeah, he specified the one show, or like any other show the past 50 years. But yeah,
you're always waiting that next week, like the next week.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this like the whole having a whole volume of everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A graphic novel is.
Yeah. Look at me go. Then you can just read it all at once, and you're not always just waiting for the next month or whatever. Like so, I think that way's a lot better to go about it. Or if you've never really read comic books before. Because and then you're not always waiting. It's like you can get the gist of what's happening, and they're pretty quick reads. It's not like you're taking forever.
Liam can't open a wine bottle apparently for himself.
It's a beer bottle, I'll have you know.
No, sorry, a beer bottle. Yeah, I used to do the graphic novels, and I've read graphic novels my whole life, so I would just find issues and like read them ones I want. And then when they did reboot them, like Liam said, New 50, that's when I got in because I had finance at that point. Yeah. And like
it's a lot of money to go.
Oh, it is. And then at the same time, like I love it but hate it because I do hate because it is a lot of money to collect issues, but then at the same time it is if you get a good comic.
But it's also kind of not a lot of money.
No,
like DC kind of pisses me off because they're like $4.99. Marvel's is like $3.99.
They're going down, but they're not, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, thanks, fucking Canadian dollar. Even though it's up to 80 cents.
No, I meant like the comics are going down, but like they're doing 2 a month for the big titles. Remember?
Yeah, and and then it's kind of like really think about it. It's like it's like $4.
It's more.
Like not that you drink trash, but like okay, so that's like a beer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, okay, but then that's when I was just doing Batman. And then I'm doing Batman and Deadpool and Groot and Rocket Raccoon. And then all of a sudden you're like,
piles up.
And you're like, oh, fuck, like 1 month is like $50.
And it sucks because if you like those characters, you want to keep going. That's the one thing with the issues when you do read them, you do get really invested. It is like a TV show because you're like, man, I want to know what's going on with Batman. I want to know what's going on with Wolverine. So it's like, and that I've been, not bad because I like it, but I've been doing a lot of the single issues lately, and it's just because like, I've just been enjoying reading them, so...
That's true, too. I think for someone who's never really read comic books, just reading a whole graphic novel would be probably better for them. That way they can get a full gist of what's happening and then kind of get caught up. But I think that's just one person's opinion. I don't really... That's my opinion. I don't know. I'd rather sit down and read a full series than read 30 pages and be like, well, I want more. Well, which is what you want.
Yeah.
Is to want more.
Yeah, that's how they get you back.
I think I'd rather just read the whole story almost like a...
Yeah,
it's almost
exactly.
like a book, I think.
And especially with I brought it up something ago, but it was like some of Scott Snyder's Batman. Like one issue, like you'll read it and you're like, I don't like this at all. Yeah. And then like I'll put it down.
You don't like this at all? That's a little hard.
Well, no, because like sometimes I'm confused at what's going on. Like I don't really like where the story's going.
That happens.
Yeah,
but
and
then in the whole...
And then you read back the arc and you're like, oh my god, I get it.
Yeah.
And like sometimes, especially when you wait a month, like especially me, I'm not the person, like I don't know if you do this, but like let's say like the arc is like, a 1 to 8. I'll read like 1. I'm not gonna go back and read 1, 2. Then I'm not gonna go 1, 2, 3. Then I'm not gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna keep reading it. So sometimes I'm like, no, I'm just gonna keep collecting them until this arc's finished, and then I'm gonna read them through.
Depends. It depends all on the situation. Like if I really like the ride, I'll go through. If I really like the character, but there's certain ones where I'm like, you know what? If I know this is 5 issues, I'll sit down and wait, and then just read them all. So
yeah.
Well, I guess we'll move on to our next piece of news. That don't look at the news, Kyle. You're not supposed to. Kyle's really nervous because every time we do this before, he's always like, "Tell me what the news is." This is the first time he doesn't know what the news was before. What was I say? Tom Hiddleston has gone on record and said that he thinks Thor 3 will likely be his last Thor.
Wow.
Kyle, what do you think about that?
I think he's done really well, but I don't know. I feel like maybe he just doesn't know what's going to go on with his character after this.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I kind of get that feeling too.
Yeah, and I think he just wants out and might as well kind of end like a Seinfeld, end at the top of your game, and then kind of just...
So you think he wants out? I don't agree. I think he might not know what happens with his character in the next one, but I don't know if he wants out because he seems to like what he does.
Well, I feel like
he's good at it.
Well, maybe they want to go a different direction because I don't know what's happening. Because I've never read the comics before. Yeah. So I don't know what Marvel has in plan, what's going on. Yeah. If it's something more or less. So in general, we'll kind of see where it heads.
I don't know. See, I really like what he's done, and I think he's like, at least in the cinematic universe, he's probably the best villain.
He is.
That they have.
I think.
No, you know what? He is the best villain they have.
I love Kilgrave and Kingpin, but still,
no. I'm talking in the cinematic.
No, I know, but even then, they still function. I think
Kilgrave is the best villain they've done. I love Fisk. I love Vincent D'Onofrio, but
I would disagree because I feel like you do feel for Kilgrave at times, but I know
there was a couple episodes where I was like, fuck, like I'm definitely on Kilgrave's side.
Yeah, but
then the next episode where it's like you always know Loki's a bad guy and you always know Fisk is a bad guy. Yeah. So I think Kilgrave's the best villain they've done.
Yeah, but like for me at the end, Kilgrave just resorts back to being just really evil.
But that's because he's been beaten and he thought he could change and then he really couldn't. It's so
I still would throw. I mean, I'd still throw in the TV realm. I'd still prefer Fisk because his backstory is a bit better. I think he has a more rounded character, and I loved it. And this is like talking about the best of the best. And David Tennant, I just feel like he sometimes gets a bit too evil, and that's where in the villain side it only works for a few people, and it works really well. I think I like Fisk so much because they really get across of. You might be going for Wilson Fisk, and his way could be kind of twisted right. Well, Kilgrave, you do feel bad for him, but what his end goal is, you never feel right about that. Like that's my Fisk's end goal.
That's what I like about it, though. And at the same time, he goes, "I can literally say anything I want, and people will do it." He doesn't have to be the big scary guy. And then I love when he loses his power, and you can see him. He just kind of sits there until he figures out a way to get out of it, and I really liked him. And the only reason I'd be sad about Hiddleston leaving is not because I think I just want him. He's so good. I just want him to see more.
I just want him always around. And I think this is the biggest thing with Marvel is they don't have that big villains, and they need to keep those ones around. Yeah. And obviously, I don't know. We haven't seen Thor 3. He could get killed. I think that's a big mistake. I think you should just write him off, and if you want him to disappear, he goes away. And don't at the end of Thor 2, obviously he has this arc where he's taking over Asgard, but just make him disappear, put him in a Asgardian prison that he can't escape from, and if you want to pull him out, you can, because I think Loki is the best thing. With Civil War, we'll have to see how Baron Zemo shakes out. A lot of people don't like him already. I'm kind of fine with it. I had a feeling after we saw it would be a controversial thing. A lot of people said it's one of the weakest villains I've ever seen. And I could see that, but I don't agree because it's a villain for the first time in the Marvel MCU, the movies, that I actually understand their motives. And,
and that's why I think he is such a good thing. Is
Yeah.
you know, is like you never really kind of get Ultron's motive.
No, you don't. It's just like, fuck you, Tony Stark.
Yeah, and it goes, you are terrible.
I think people's complaint, sorry, skip ahead like a minute if you haven't seen Civil War, but I think people's complaint is a little valid that maybe they didn't need to call him Baron Zemo. He could have just been a fucking random guy.
But I feel like he's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know though, because
as someone who doesn't read the comic books, I feel like it wouldn't matter anyways.
Yeah.
if he came back or not.
No, like what name you gave him.
Well, and that's why I think people are pissed because like his character in the comics is very different, and
Yeah.
they're saying like you could have had that random Joe Small or make some other small character do that, and that's why I think some people don't like him because it's like, oh, we have this idea of what and who he is. Like the guy wears a fucking pink unitard costume, and he's just like a average dude in there. So I can see that. Like I said, I got past it because I like it that he actually knows motives. Like his family got killed, he's out to avenge them.
Yeah.
But like that's not the character in the comics. It's the same thing that people that didn't like Iron Man 3 for Mandarin when they did the whole like bait and switch thing. So it's that thing of like. And I kind of get it because some people said like, oh, they already did this with Mandarin and now they did it with Zemo. So I kind of get it because they don't have that many villains, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't want him to die. I just want Loki to just hang around, and then if they want to come back, come back. If he wants, I'm still honestly wanting a Loki movie at some point. I don't know why, but like he can become an anti-hero. He's popular enough.
Well, you know what? And like I'm a little biased because I love Thor and I love Norse mythos. I'm really into heavy metal too, which is obviously really inspired by Norse mythos. So like, man, a Loki movie, I'd be like first in line. No, like I'd go fucking me. You could give me Lady Sif movie, and I'd be like, yes, I'm in.
I would not.
I would just because I love it so much. But
they need to flesh her out a bit more before.
But they wouldn't her own movie.
I know.
But regardless,
Netflix.
No, that just makes it sad. But that being said, also seeing like him in Crimson Peak, he was really, really good in that. And his new movie is called High Rise.
I want to see that so
which
bad.
looks absolutely phenomenal.
And The Night Manager, if anyone's watching AMC,
is that good?
So good. It's only 6 episodes. Watch it. Only 6 episodes. They're 42 minutes to an hour. Fucking so good. Him and Hugh Laurie. I heard all the interviews about him talking about being Bond. I'm like, I don't really see it. I watched that. I'm like, make him be James Bond like right now. Yeah. You know.
So like and so it's kind of like as much as I love you as Loki and I love your character of Loki. Mm-hmm. You are such a good actor. I'd hate to keep you in the Marvel universe because they do have such stringent contracts.
I just say don't kill him, so you just leave that option open. Put him in a prison. He could be gone for 10 years. I imagine in 10 years they announce a Comic-Con.
When he becomes the greatest actor, like I think he will be. Like I think he's gonna hit. Like I know you love Fassbender, but I think he's gonna be the one that puts butts in seats and achieve that acting success that Fassbender has.
Fassbender, he doesn't have the mainstream appeal. I still think Fassbender's a better actor.
I don't disagree, but I think he's gonna be one that can put butts in seats.
No, I agree.
And I think, and then it's like, hey, you know what? We'll give you $20 million to make like a thing in this movie.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
like I said, I hope he doesn't go and. Yeah, so now there's 2 good things about a comic we all love, our graphic novel, Killing Joke, coming out officially August 2nd. And
I never read it. I'm just joking.
Wait, what?
And it is officially rated R. Are you guys happy about this?
I will fully admit, I know you sent me the trailer. I didn't watch it yet.
Oh, wow. Have you watched the trailer?
I might have been during finals.
Yeah, you sent it to me, and I was like, you know what? Just the fact it's being made, I'm so excited.
I don't think you need to because the graphic novel's so small you might not want to see that animation in there. And honestly, I'd wait because I don't know how I feel about the animation.
That's one thing that I was like, kind of like, I already know the story. Like, you don't have to get me hyped for it. Like, I don't need to watch a trailer.
And the animation, there's times where it looks like the Killing Joke arc, but at the same time, it looks a little different. I don't know how.
How are they releasing it? Is it just on DVD?
Yeah, which I wish they do. Like, just a mini theatrical run. Like, I'd love to see that. They should release more. Obviously, they wouldn't do it where we live, but like, there's so many like little animated movies I'd like to see. But I wish they would with that. It's good enough. What were you gonna say? With the art style.
It's that clicked in for me. I have seen it. No, I thought it looks kind of. I agree with you there with Travis. Like how it looked kind of similar to the comics.
Yeah. But different at the same time.
Same.
Yeah,
but different.
Yeah.
But still the same.
Yeah.
No, but I thought it. I actually just knowing what the Killing Joke is about and reading the comic itself is just amazing. So like you already know the storyline. I guess now I understand when your guys' hype when you go watch a movie. You already know the storyline, so you know what to expect. So
It's
fucking
legit.
hope it better be good.
Like after now that Civil War's passed, it's legit my most anticipated movie. Like if someone came and said, "What do you want to see now?" I do want to see The Killing Joke. You know, like what'd you say?
I said Warcraft's my first one.
Of course.
Yeah,
Kyle, what's your most anticipated movie right now?
Born.
Yeah, I knew it.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what?
Damn
It's
fucking good.
It does, and I think it's like the first two. I was like, oh, cool. I saw the first one or the third one in theater like 3 times. I don't know why. I loved it.
Great.
Didn't even see the Jeremy Renner one. I
saw it. It was good,
meh.
but it wasn't as good.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he didn't become a bigger actor because they really tried to make him a bigger actor.
Yeah.
It just didn't work
Impossible
out.
Hawkeye.
I mean, like, it's not that he's small by any means, but like they wanted to make him like a big leading man, and just it didn't really work out.
I think the
Hawkeye
problem
Netflix series.
the problem is that they don't give him enough characters where he can really like develop and act. I guess.
Yeah.
Because even Bourne is a pretty like straightforward character. Like even in that the movie that he was in, he didn't change at all. He was like the same character. And even in I guess Hawkeye a little bit in the last.
But he doesn't. He's not the main guy.
He's not the main guy.
Yeah,
Or Netflix series.
If he goes to a Netflix series, I'd be pumped.
I think if you do Hawkeye and Black Widow. Well, actually, Black Widow's done a lot with Captain America.
I don't think Scarlett Johansson would never do a Netflix series.
And to be honest, I don't really like Black Widow as a character. I like her how she is in the movies.
Yeah.
She's.
I like her a lot more in the comics, to be honest.
Yeah, this is kind of to me. Like, she's great in the movies, and they use her really well. I thought the Russo brothers did phenomenal with her in Civil War.
Yeah.
But it's never like, I don't find her that interesting when I have Thor and Iron Man and Spider-Man and Black Panther and Ant-Man and.
It's funny, even though I didn't like Ultron like as much as Avengers and the romance a little weak, I kind of liked when they got into the backstory and whatnot.
It's kind of weird with Winter because I just watched Winter Soldier.
I didn't see last night.
And just seeing the whole like weird chemistry that was happening between her and Captain America.
The director said they never planned that to be a romance. They said they wanted to be like
like her trying to help him.
No, like a brother and sister sort of thing.
But it didn't feel like that at all.
No, and like I don't know if they don't mean that, and I'll take them to word. Maybe they weren't trying to make a romance, but I kind of like they were kind of working as a couple, you know. Like I liked it, and we'll see what happens in like the next follow up because obviously he's gonna end up with Peggy Carter's niece there or whatever. So obviously they're gonna do that, but I actually really liked those two together, and it would have been a cool. And they do hook up in the comics, so it'd be great. So
I don't know. I didn't dislike that thing, but I disliked how in Age of Ultron how she had the love interest with Hulk, and then it just kind of felt like they're like, oh well, what the fuck happened in Captain America?
And we were just talking about that. Yeah, the director said that they just felt there was gonna be a brother sister thing, but
and then even when you watch Civil War, like. She doesn't really mention the Hulk. I guess she's not.
She does.
She does?
Yeah, because Tony's like, no chance you can get the big guy. And she's like, no.
Oh. Oh, right.
Are we getting another Hulk movie with Ruffalo? Have you heard anything about that?
We're not, because they don't own the distribution rights to it. Funny enough, Paramount still does.
Really?
Yeah, but the rumor is he is going to be in Thor 3. I don't want to spoil it because I accidentally spoil it, but like he will be in Thor 3.
Don't spoil it for me.
But no, I won't. You'll love it.
Ragnarok.
But I think the main reason why you're pumped for J-Sport is because of the trailer. So let's talk about some trailers that dropped in the past month, and you can pass or fail it and tell me if you're excited, whatnot. Doctor Strange trailer, Liam.
I like it more and more every time I see it. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, this looks really cool. A little Inception-y, though.
Yep.
The more that I see it, the more I'm like, this is going to be fucking sweet. And, like, the level of actors they have in it is so high. So I just...
save Hannibal. Mads Mikkelsen. Any movie with Mads Mikkelsen, and he's a villain.
Is he coming back for Hannibal? Because I've heard he wants to do more.
They want to. We all want to. We all want it.
Is it done now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I should start that, because I've heard it's quite good. So.
It is... Like I said, it's my second greatest show of all time after Breaking Bad. It is one of the greatest.
Firefly?
What?
Not Firefly?
No. It's one of the greatest pieces. I refer to Hannibal not even a show as art. It has my favorite romance of all time, and it's between
not even the OC?
What? No.
Wow.
That's not in my top 10.
Okay, first of all, Firefly is great. Don't compare it to the OC.
Yeah. How are you feeling about Doctor Strange in the trailer?
Watching it, because I don't know anything about Doctor Strange, it looks pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. It does kind of, as Liam said, looks Inception-y. Which is, we'll just see where it goes. I don't know. Like, doesn't really seem like a comic book movie.
And that's what I like about the most. I'm very excited. Yeah. I know a little bit. I know in the middle about Doctor Strange. I've met him more in like other comics when he's with people.
Yeah, I've never actually read a Doctor Strange, but I've seen like all of his crossovers.
Yeah. And on the same thing, I think that's why Marvel is so good, is because I feel like if you didn't have that Marvel tag before it, you wouldn't know it was a comic book movie.
I agree with you.
And I think that's what we've talked about this before, and that's why I like it. Like Guardians, space opera, Civil War, this war superhero movie, Ant-Man's a heist movie, Doctor Strange is this mythical movie, Black Panther's gonna be this global movie.
Yeah. You know, like Winter Soldier was a spy thriller.
Yeah, you know, like there's gonna be that's the best thing they do.
Once again, that's a throwback to the last rant, rave, repeat we did. Kevin Feige, fucking killing it.
Nope, that's the one that comes after that. You're predicting the future right now.
I've been drinking.
Oh yeah,
I'm farce here.
Suicide Squad, the Blitz trailer, the last one.
Is that the Bohemian Rhapsody one?
No, the Blitz trailer is the one with Ballroom Blitz. That's why I said the Blitz
trailer.
I was like, I was like,
Blitz trailer.
You know what?
I'm on the up and up.
You know, it's funny. I'm so iffy about this movie. I think it has the potential to be really good. I really liked all the trailers, but especially after Batman vs Superman, it's like it could suck. But David Ayer is such a good director.
It didn't hurt my excitement. Funny enough, I walked out of BVF and I was still like, I'm almost a little bit more excited for Suicide Squad now. Maybe because I think it will be better than BVS.
I agree with Travis. I think it looks better than BVS.
Yeah,
that's not
Plus, we get to see Batman again in the movie, which they showed in this trailer.
Yeah.
Lots of Batman, if you notice. Lots of Batman. They're like, hey, even the people that hate BVS are like, hey, Batman's fucking awesome. So, like, let's put scenes of Batman in there. So, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped. It should be a great film, and I think a lot of people who aren't comic book fans, again, as I speak for them, I was talking to a few, and they were telling me that they're excited for Suicide Squad, and I forget her name, but her name who's playing Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people who's pumped to see her play, and she looks incredible. Oh my god.
It's funny, I talked about this on the GeekVerse, and I don't know why when they cast her, it was perfect casting.
Yeah.
And then the trailer came out and I was excited. But almost with every trailer that's come out, I've almost been a little less excited for it, to be honest.
Really?
Thank you, Kirkland. Yeah, you've met Kirkland. He said the same thing in GeekVerse, and we were the only ones like, like I said, went to the stage of like,
when they first showed her and she was like in the jail, I guess? Like that like weird cube prison thing. I was kind of like, oh, right, like this is cool. And then like as she kind of finished that little scene, I was like, man, this is going to be great. And then every time since then, it seems, I don't know.
They keep throwing a lot of jokes.
Kirkland seems like, do you feel like they're exposing her too much on the show? That was his point. He says he feels like they're giving away too many of her one-liners that you kind of... And that's what
I definitely agree with that. I also don't like her tattoos.
The tattoos are always...
Well, it's funny. Like I sent you
I don't
this
mind
message. It says "Lucky You" above her cooch. I thought it said "Fuck you," and I was like, that'd be hilarious if they did that in this movie for like no one but me. But like, I had to like stop that thing, go frame by frame.
This kid, Liam Brogan, he does a
you.
Dynamic Duo podcast. Make sure this says "fuck you."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I'm very excited.
Just because I think that'd be like, because it's either for the Joker or it's nobody else. So if you just said "fuck you" right there, I think it'd be. I thought that'd be like funny, but like not in like a haha way, just like a it says "fuck."
Because I would bet you my bank account that her and Will Smith are gonna sleep together in this movie.
That you know what's funny? He's the only person that I think is gonna bring this movie down.
I wouldn't say that. I'm just the least excited for him.
He's had a lot of bombs lately, and everything that he's done in the trailer looks like typical Will Smith.
Yeah,
it looks like
it does. Oh, we're gonna go save the world.
Yeah, gonna go save the world, huh? And you're like, fuck you, Fresh Prince. Like that is the most Will Smith.
I don't feel that.
I don't feel that way.
You didn't see that, and you're like, oh my god, why would they give him the lamest line? He's a great actor.
He says it sarcastically in the trailer, though. My thing is, I don't think he brings the film down. He's just not the thing I'm looking for. He works for people like my mother and people that are mainstream. Hey, Will Smith's in this movie. He's just... And he's playing Deadshot, who, will have some character, but at the end of the day, he's just the fucking guy who shoots guns. So he doesn't need to have this big development. Truthfully, this trailer, to me, is... like... I'm not talking about the look anymore because the look's the way it is. I've accepted. Gotta move on. But Leto looks really good in the past trailer.
Yeah, his look I think is it might take me out of it, but
I think so too. I'm just looking past.
Gotta wait to see.
And like I just like there's a line he says about like like you saying all this chit chat, it's gonna get you hurt, and he delivers it really well. And there's this one shot in the trailer where half his face is kind of burnt and his hair is all fucked up, and it looks like an iconic Joker image. Like I think acting wise, and I'm not even the biggest Jared Leto fan. He's gonna knock it out of the park, but. So the trailer we liked, yes.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
And last trailer, this one will be probably a bit more in the middle. X-Men Apocalypse.
I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Just because you're not so sold on Jennifer Lawrence yet.
Oh yeah, her is the only thing that makes me go, about this movie because it really looks like she's phoning it in. But everything else they've shown looks great. Like Olivia Munn I think is probably the most so actress. There's times like in the Newsroom she's phenomenal, and then there's other movies where she's just So I know she can turn it on.
I want to see that beast fight scene so bad. When she slams the sword between his legs and then she smiles, that was like, oh.
Yeah, like I know she can be a good actress.
Like in a sexy way, but in like an action like this is so badass.
And I know we talked about it. It's funny, like, because like I'm familiar with the comics. When they showed Wolverine at the end, I was like, oh great. It wasn't like, oh my god, that was a big reveal. I was like, oh no, I knew this was happening. It's
some people are mad, but it's like, he's been in everyone so far, and it's funny with Spider-Man. I was kind of like, I don't know if they should show him with Wolverine. Like, one, I think they need to, because they don't have the hype of DC and starting a universe, and they don't have the hype of good reviews with Marvel. Like, they got Days of Future Past legit, like a 94, 95 Rotten Tomatoes. It's not that they make bad movies. It's just, it definitely is Marvel, DC, Fox. And it's just because Fox just has X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Deadpool?
I was going to get into that right now. Deadpool's hit, and if Apocalypse is as good as Future Past, I think they'll be riding high, and they might take over DC. I think if they knock it out 2 times in 1 year, they'll raise the stakes. But the thing with Lawrence, I'll defend her, is all her lines in the trailer are really generic action lines, and I'm hoping they're just, because there's lots of times you see in a trailer, they do redub them, so I'm hoping they're just, hey, Reed, like, we need to go to war, like, he's an apocalypse. Like, they're all lines where that you can't, like, we need to put together a team. Like, that's why I'm, like, giving her the benefit of the doubt before I see
it's like Extraordinary Men or X-Men.
Yeah, like, it's all whatever lines, but there's certain things that, the 3 things I'll tell you is Wolverine's in it. I'm very excited about that. And Bryan Singer said that it's not a cameo, it plays more into it. I'm not sure if that's future Wolverine.
Think he's going to be like Weapon X? And he's going to have that weird
Lots of people are hoping that. I fucking hope so. So bad. It's such a cool look. You see it? So cool.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
Yeah, no. It's so cool. It's just an iconic look. But with him, and I want them to address it because that's in our another newsletter, because I still want to. They've not answered the elephant in the room of, okay, Hugh Jackman's done. What's happening? Is there just no Wolverine? Are we replacing him? Are we casting him? But that's after I got some news. 2, I like that they're hinting about Nightcrawler and Mystique actually being parents, because last podcast we said that probably won't happen because they're not going to make Jennifer Lawrence a mom. But in that trailer, Nightcrawler seems to think she's somebody, and she's a little caught off guard. So I like, if they make her his mother, I'm so in, because I love that. Like, if in between the movies she got pregnant and left this kid at a fucking circus, she could get some actual character development in a movie. Like, that's something Jennifer Lawrence, who can be a great actress, could chew on.
And which would be great, but I also don't like that she's not Mystique. Like, she's just Jennifer Lawrence in those scenes.
In those scenes, she is going around the city, right? So she's trying to be... All the battle scenes, she's Mystique, right? So that's the other thing.
So I you know what? To me, like, I'm excited for it. Like, I love Oscar Isaac, man. That
and
guy.
My hype's going up at the beginning of the year. I was like, I'm excited for X-Men. But
it was fun. I remember we did like all the trailers or all the movies of the year, and we like, what are you most excited for? I think X-Men was near the bottom.
No, I think it was like 4, because it was like Civil War, Deadpool, and then like 4, because we're like, X-Men will probably be good, but it's like there's so much going on.
That is more exciting. And then now that we get closer to it, I'm like, but even then, it was Civil War was the same thing too. I was like, you know what? Like, okay, we got Deadpool, Batman vs Superman. I was like, okay, like, I know it's Marvel. I know it's gonna be good. Yeah. And then after seeing, I'm like, wow, that blew me away. Marvel, bring it on. What else you got? I'm excited.
And that's how I felt about the last trailer with X-Men. I really liked it.
But does Marvel have another movie coming out this year?
Not Doctor Strange. That's it. Not till November.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
But not till November. Long time.
For some reason, honestly, I don't know what it is, but I feel like everything is like 2 months later than it should be. I feel like Doctor Strange was supposed to drop in May.
We've talked about
and like
this.
X-Men was in June, and then it was just Star Wars at Christmas, and then there was nothing in theaters.
And the last thing I really like about the trailer is that they've just pretty much spoiled a bit, but whatever, that they are going to be dealing with Magneto and Quicksilver, the father-son thing. Because right in there he says,
he was great.
He's my dad. And then when he's like,
Days of Future Past.
He's like, him and my mom, and he's like, did it. And she's like, stop talking. Like, he's great, and I like that they will get into it. I have a feeling in the movie that's what will turn Magneto back to good, is he'll find out Quicksilver's son, and that will be the thing of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I like that with Fassbender Magneto at the beginning of the trailer, he's like, you can't do this. And he's like, whatever you saw in me that was good is it died with my family. And it's like, I can't wait to see, there's a rumor that Magneto had this family, and he was like retired, hiding. Like, I'm very, like, my hype has gone up a lot for the X-Men movie.
Really?
Yeah, like, and X-Men...
Really good.
beer talk. After Batman, X-Men has always been my favorite. Like, X-Men's my favorite Marvel character. Wolverine's my favorite character. Like, I love X-Men, and I'm happy that we're getting good movies. And maybe it's definitely because I'm all superhero hype too. But like, the last trailer was good. Like, that last trailer was like, okay, like I'm really in. If I had any like worries or concerns, and yeah, you said, I keep forgetting, Oscar Isaacs is in it. He's the guy that played Poe in Star Wars.
Yeah,
he's the villain.
Man, he could act out a phone book, and I'd be like he's just great. Everything that he's in, like I think I first
Scene Stiller.
Yeah, like he was in Inside Llewyn Davis. That was the first time I saw him, and I was like, man, you know what? I hope he kind of gets away from these indies and starts doing some blockbusters because he's great. And then he saw Ex Machina, and I was like, and I saw that 4 stars, and I was like, wow, this is it.
First time I saw him was in Drive when he played the deadbeat dad that went to prison.
He was in Drive?
He's the piece of shit dad that was in prison.
Really?
He is too. Well, I didn't even know that. Yeah. I just found out in.
That's the first time I'm like, who's the fuck? This guy, he's good.
You know, do you guys watch Glee, or did you watch Glee when it was on?
No.
I watched like the first season and a half. I really liked it, but like Matthew Morrison, the guy who plays the teacher, is in The Departed.
What?
Yeah,
really?
He plays a guy that kills his partner, and like, I can't remember who brought it up on one podcast I was watching. And I went back and watched it.
I don't think you're right about this.
Let's see what IMDb has to say.
Okay, last time you did this, you were wrong. You thought Joffrey was in The Dark Knight, but that's okay.
Which one was he in, though?
He was in Batman Begins.
Batman Begins, yeah.
Yeah, X-Men looks pretty interesting, so
yeah,
I'm excited. I think I'm still going to rank it as... I haven't really changed in excitement level from when we first did this, of saying which ones we're most excited for, but after now watching... I think the biggest thing with Civil War is just changing my whole outlook on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, to sleep on it with Guardians: Winter Soldier, it came out the same year as Future Past, and like I think everyone forgets about Future Past is damn good. Like, I don't know if that might be my favorite X-Men film. I always debate between that and X2, but it was so good. So I really have no reason to be like, well, it might be like it was good. So, well, semi speaking, we won't get back in our rant about BVS, but so news on the Soul Batman movie. It's rumored to come out 2019. So we were hoping for 2018, but it's rumored to come out November 2019.
November, hey? Ooh.
Yeah, it's a weird date. Like, Doctor Strange is coming out, but it's like...
Is that maybe they're just trying to change the trend?
Well, I'm hoping it kind of means it's a lower budget, to be honest. I don't know, but this is...
I feel like with the lower budget films, the fight scenes are a lot better.
Are you just using it for Daredevil?
Yeah. I'm totally using it for Daredevil.
Have you found your thing out yet, Liam? Because I want your opinion on one thing coming up here. He's looking and he's just settling that he knows he's wrong because it's not him. It's a guy from Iron Man 3 he's talking about. And he's in shame, and he's in that war movie, that Michael Bay movie just did. Trust me. I know. He's like James Badger or something like that.
But for that movie to come out, like the new Batman film, are you right?
I don't know. He shows up apparently like, I don't know. I'm gonna say no, because like I put in Matthew Morrison, The Departed, and like hits came up for both of them, but they didn't say that he was in it. So I almost wonder if he was just like an uncredited, like he walked by role.
Oh. So
we're talking about Batman rumored to come out 2019 in November. What do you think November means?
Fuck me, that's so long.
Yeah,
that's
the 3 years.
But
I'm gonna have a career by then. I won't even be in Canada. Fuck me. That's so long.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing that in Japan, hopefully.
Why are you going to Japan?
World Cup 2020. So my goal is, once I finish my education degree, to go over there and start teaching.
Okay.
But man, 2019 in November.
That's a rumor. I'm hoping it's still 2018 because I don't want to wait that long for a Soul Batman.
Neither do I. But the issue is 2019. So it's 2016, 2017. So that's going to be against the third Star Wars in the trilogy.
And Avengers Infinity War Part 2.
Yeah, like that's like,
it is the Batman though.
It is Batman, but it depends. Do you know when Infinity War is actually releasing?
The first one is 2018, and the second part is 2019. So,
but like what month?
I would imagine probably same time as Civil War, like May, March, April. So they like the spring more than the. So it's
which is fine. Okay, then if you got Batman. I mean, as a film goer, I'm pumped because I can go Civil War, whatever summer blockbusters are coming out, and then I go Batman and then Star Wars. I'm a happy fucking camper.
Yeah.
But I that's too long. I think it's just so what we're at 2016. Now, admittedly, I don't know how long it takes to write and film a movie of the scale, however Ben Affleck wants it to do.
Yeah.
But like that just seems too long because when is the Justice League coming out?
Next year.
So is this going to be before or after Justice League?
They've not said.
Yeah, see, that's...
The only thing to come on, because you haven't read it, Kyle is actually more of an expert than you on this opinion, but there was a report, there was a rumor coming out that the Batman film, which has been announced that's controlled by Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck, they have full creative control.
How did Jeff Johns get that?
Because he's a great fucking writer.
Was he not on... G4 Tech TV?
I don't know.
Is that him? Do you guys never watch that?
No.
That was the best.
Searches are not...
Is that on YTV?
No, it was actually... G4 Tech TV was the channel. And I thought he was on Attack of the Show.
Anyways, the rumor is that the solo Batman movie is going to have a lot of villains, a lot of classic villains, and they said it might be crammed with villains. Now,
really?
Lots of people have been joking about, like, hopefully it's not on an email or computer screen or whatnot, and people are thinking, like, oh, maybe there's this villain at the post-credit, or, like, there's a film before the credits, and one in the middle, one in the end, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, and no one, I don't think I've seen has mentioned this, and actually you could be a part of this too, I guess, but when they say there's going to be a lot of villains in there, I get, like, a Long Halloween or Hush type of vibe. That one's for you, Liam. But they say there could be a lot of villains in there, and...
That's why I feel like it's going to be Hush.
But then I also feel like with it coming in November, could it be Long Halloween? Because people, I feel like, are taking it the wrong way about the whole cram villains. I think they think, oh, he's going to be up against, like, a lot of bad guys. But I'm starting to think that I desperately want Long Halloween the movie. Like, if Ben Affleck announced he was directing a live-action Long Halloween, and even Hush, you remember Hush? Hush is very similar. It's a murder mystery. Yeah. But one of those two, like a long story with a bunch of villains, I'd be so excited.
If they just did a Netflix series of it.
Well, that's too expensive. But that's the only thing I can think of, like, having a lot of villains in and working, you know?
Yeah.
I'm totally thinking of another guy named Jeff. But no,
you're on a roll.
I was looking at what he's done. He's a very good writer. Mm-hmm. I was thinking it was one of the hosts of Attack of the Show. Yeah. Not that you guys ever watched that, but that was like, yeah, it was a very, very good show. And I was like, man, how did he get control of that? Like, good for him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just so nervous about what DC is gonna put out. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for Wonder Woman because I quite like Gal Gadot. I thought she would annoy me.
I'm in the middle.
Just like with her accent, whatever. But I was like, oh, I liked it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and like I'd like to see what you're gonna do with this Wonder Woman movie. Also, I think World War I is a really cool time in history, especially world history. So I think that I was like, oh, I'm excited for this.
I'm still actually kind of sure about her.
Yeah,
I think the action, cool Wonder Woman stuff she can do. I don't know the big heavy scenes if she can pull it.
We'll see.
I feel like BVS didn't give her much justice.
And that's why like everyone's like, oh,
no,
she's
but
awesome.
Great at checking her emails. Like I really believe she was checking her emails in the middle of the fight, and then it can magically just jump across the city.
Oh, I'm in the airplane. Oh.
Well, speaking of solo film with I ruined it with
you hadn't even been drinking.
Speaking of superhero solo female films, Captain Marvel is rumored in the next.
Did they announce who's playing her?
Month or two to direct an actress and an announcer. And by month and two, if we're going into May, month or two would be June, July. So Comic-Con D23 thing.
Who do you want?
Brie Larson. I've said this a bunch of times.
I want Brie Larson as well.
What the fuck, man? When we did our Oscar thing, he's like, yeah, Brie Larson. And then the last review report, you're like, nah, I don't really know. And then I asked why. You're like, because I'm kind of tired now, and I don't know if I like it anymore.
You know what? But I've thought about it again. I'm like, you know what? She'd be really good. And I watched a couple episodes of Supergirl. Mm-hmm. Not like much. Like just like I wanted to check it out. I haven't been a big fan of like the DC shows. Yeah, they're very CW to me.
Oh yeah.
And like the Flash has moments. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Arrow's first season I thought was quite good. But then after that, I was like, yeah.
Flash is really good if you stick with it, but
yeah,
it definitely has its cheese.
Yeah, and so I'm like, you know what? I could see Brie Larson. My only thing.
Brie Larson's on Supergirl though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you know what? After seeing what they're going for, I could see her playing that character. The only thing would be the physicality of the character. I'd like to see how she does it.
Rumor was they want Emily Blunt, but she's pregnant. And that
good
was
for John Krasinski. Good for him.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think I could see her as
me either.
Wonder Woman.
A lot of people were pumped. The one that
she's a great actress. I love her.
Yeah, but I just didn't see her in that. The one thing, and I'm not saying this to be a dick. I'm saying this because we all know how Hollywood works. She's, I guess, young enough, but they won't go because they want a franchise. 10 years early, Charlize Theron to me would be the perfect pick in my opinion.
I don't know if she would have done it though.
I think so. When she does fucking shit like Ultraviolet and like. Sorry, I love the movie, but the semi-fun piece of shit. Isn't it Ultraviolet or is it Arrow on Flux? Yeah, that one. When she does like What's Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves movie with the devil? What the fuck is that movie? Because it's a great bad movie. What the fuck is that movie?
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, it's not
a lawyer.
It's not like Take Me to Hell, but it's
a lawyer movie. It's like
No, that's Canada.
What the fuck? I'm sorry, folks. We're gonna think like, you better go home. He's fucking your girlfriend up the ass.
Al Pacino is like
the best devil.
The devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate, yeah.
He was like, he's such a good actor in so many things, and then so fucking awful in so many others. Like
she looked at me and she thought, how that little guy fuck me, little me.
People always like, oh, Nick Cage makes bad movies. Al Pacino makes a lot of shitty movies that nobody talks about. Like, oh, Al Pacino, he's a great actor. Yeah, he is. Like in Serpico, he's phenomenal. But there's a lot of stuff that you're like, ugh, that's bad. But no, to me, she seems like more. She's kind of like a one and done. Like she did Mad Max, and she'd do those films.
She's in Fast and Furious coming up. She's the villain.
But
she would.
She's not going to sign up for like a 6-picture deal, and I think that's why she wouldn't have done it.
I think there's a chance she won her Oscar really young. And when they win the Oscar young,
they
fucking mode.
They actually say like as
I would
Matt
too.
Damon said, it's like I can just do fun things now. I realize that it's great, but it doesn't really mean that much. So. No, I don't know if she would, but I could see. I would love her to be that because I think she could do it. But
and I don't really have a director in mind. You know, they're gonna go with a female, and I don't really have a good. You know who legit they wouldn't do? Catherine Bigelow though. That's what I think.
The only thing I was gonna say was Sofia Coppola, but I was like, as I was thinking that, I'm like, no, she wouldn't do it.
Sorry, I don't know Captain Marvel.
I have no idea what you guys been talking about for the last 10
Captain
minutes.
Marvel is gonna be Marvel's first solo film with a female lead. She'll be in Infinity War. Oh, okay. And the rumor is in the next 2 months there'll be a cast announcement, aka around Comic-Con time, because that's in the next 2 months. So.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this Comic-Con.
Are you going?
No, I can't afford it.
Why are you excited?
Because everything like this year, it just seems like
I'm gonna break his heart in a second.
Don't do this to me. But that and E3 are like I'm so excited for this.
E3 year. Legit is packed except fuck Nintendo. You heard they said they're not even showing the new console.
Yeah, which
really?
I honestly, as much as it kills me to say, I think Nintendo's dead.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet on the GeekVerse, but yeah, I've lost a lot.
You should bring me on because like I love video games. I probably play more video games than anybody except for the guy whose name is escaping me.
Dylan,
yes.
Yeah. The guy that can't Civil War. That's
No, not him. Who's the one that does the Assassin's Creed channel?
Oh, Taylor,
yes. I was like, no, I know Dylan. Yeah, because he probably plays the only one that plays more games than me. But like I love video games, and I'm so excited about E3. Bethesda's getting their own conference. Last time they did it, they announced Fallout 4, so that means maybe a new Elder Scrolls. And they just released the trailer. Like, oh my god, I'm
E3. We're
excited.
doing daily cast. We're doing a cast for every press conference. So
that's actually the one thing that I just sit and watch. I don't know what it is, but I love E3.
Well, this was lower.
This Comic-Con, I think, is going to be big for what they're.
It's not. This is lower in my news. I'll bring it up now. So Marvel's not at Comic-Con this year. They're being at D23. They scheduled D23 a week before Comic-Con.
Dragon Con?
What?
D23 is
no, it's Disney.
That makes sense though.
They're on their own con now. So what is it?
Stupid. Well,
yeah, but it makes sense for them. It's cheaper. No, I might be going to Star Wars Celebration next year because we're thinking about going to WrestleMania and it's in Florida. And it's legit. They're doing Star Wars Celebration a week after.
I've been to a couple cons, and like having Marvel and DC at San Diego is like huge. And I've never been to one as big as San Diego, but like. When you have that many people going, it's a little overwhelming. Yeah. So like, and you got to learn to love the line too, and you get a lot of cool things. Like last time I went, I think it was after the third Hobbit came out, and they had 4 of the dwarves there, and they did an a cappella version of like the Misty Mountain song. Mm-hmm. And like I've said it on this phone, I hate that movie, but because it was like my childhood. But seeing them do that live and meeting the actors and hanging out with them was awesome. Because I think there was like maybe like 100 people in that theater, and we all got to ask questions. It was great. Like cons are like the greatest thing ever for fans, but I don't know. It doesn't because Marvel's not there.
But
I'm not disillusioned.
And Fox has pulled out, so but nothing to do with X-Men.
There's still going to be so many cool things at E3, like there is, or not E3, Comic-Con every single year.
I don't think
it's going to be great. Well, I mean, we'll wait to see, right?
DC has 2 films in the works. So they'll show some Wonder Woman footage and maybe a Justice League photo. What else will you get superhero related? That's my thing. Fox has pulled out because of pride.
Well, not necessarily superhero related, but like literally everything that happens at Comic-Con just makes me excited. It's just I love all the cosplay.
I guess you have to have been to Comic-Con to get what he's talking about.
True, but like as a person that hasn't been, there's nothing that exciting.
Yeah,
this
like
year.
maybe there's not going to be big news,
Yeah.
but like no matter what, something's going to drop because Marvel's dropped out, because Fox, somebody else is going to be like, you know what, we have this new thing that's coming out, and that's where they're going to take it by storm. There's no way that they're going to piss away San Diego.
I disagree. I think
It's
because
gonna
there's
be
no
huge.
competition, and I don't think DC. The only thing they could drop is like the official Batman title and release date and whatnot. But
We'll have to wait to see.
I think
We won't know.
D23 will be bigger because it's now Disney, and they just released 9 unannounced movies. You have now Star Wars there now, so Star Wars isn't going to Comic-Con at all. They're like, fuck you, and then now Marvel. So anything to do with Infinity War, anything like that,
But
you
do
don't get
you
that.
think that this is
Comic-Con.
going to be like probably like the biggest year on record for Disney? Like if any
It has to
studio
be.
ever?
Because at the time of this recording, or no, it hasn't. It was Civil War, and then literally a month later, fucking Alice in Wonderland comes out. Like,
we get Alice
they
in
literally
Wonderland,
just
Doctor
hand off
Strange,
Jungle Book
and
to
Jungle
Civil War.
Book.
It was all top, and then it's like, okay, so
Did
we're
you see
not.
the Jungle Book yet?
No, like every time I
I
go
think you're
to
supposed
see
to
it,
go the other day.
I was supposed to.
Yeah, I
and
thought
then
it was really good. I actually really
something
enjoyed
always
it.
comes up.
I saw it in 3D, and I'm not a big proponent of 3D, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was.
You know, this Mike can pick that shit up, but that's okay.
Okay,
the
I
other
was
thing,
super big.
maybe
when I
they'll
saw
be
that.
announcing. Maybe they'll be announcing at D23. Speaking of, is Spider-Man: Homecoming? We got the official title. You guys like that title? Yes or no?
Yes and no.
What are we at a graduation?
Well, it's also like,
Maybe.
but it's also like Homecoming. It's coming back to Marvel because Marvel's doing the
It's
film.
very on
Like,
the nose.
Yeah, it's very tongue in cheek, and I like that. But at the same time, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm really excited. It was Tom Holland that did.
Yes.
Is that his name? I don't know why. I always get him and who's the guy that played Dane DeHaan. I don't know why, but I get their names
Why?
mixed up in my head.
Why?
Not people, but just names in my head get mixed up. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Like I've said before, I'm not a big Spider-Man fan, but I am very excited to see him. And after seeing Civil War and seeing how well Spider-Man was, I'm like, man, I'm in. This is gonna be great.
Now the two things.
I'm just kind of on the title though.
Before you go, how do you feel about the title? And then also the rumor is that Vulture will be the villain. I don't know if you know Vulture that well.
I don't
But
think
also
so.
It's
Michael
fine.
Keaton dropped out, and that makes me
I was
sad.
gonna bring that up. But how are you feeling
Wait.
about this title and the movie in general?
Also, Marissa Tomei's in it, so I don't care. I'll go see it.
These names I don't know.
It's okay. How are you feeling about
The title-
Spider-Man solo movie?
She was Aunt May.
I'm what?
Aunt May in Civil War.
Oh. Oh, okay. Anyways, gonna move on. Spider-Man: Homecoming. Interesting title, I guess, for someone. I don't know. After watching Civil War.
You don't
Boom.
really care.
Yeah,
I don't
it's like
really
Marvel,
care.
do whatever you want to me. My
Just
body's
give,
ready.
Give me another
Yeah.
movie. It's totally fine because I thought Tom Holland did a really good job as Spider-Man, and it's just a different take of like this kid is actually a kid who's playing a kid,
Yeah, it's not like
a 25-year-old.
although as much as like I find it funny, like on like Wet Hot American Summer, where they kind of play on the trope of like
That's
it's
a bit
like
different.
but it's like 30-year-olds playing high school kids. Like I'm so excited that it's an actual like teenager, like a young kid playing
Yeah.
it.
Now,
I think that's the biggest thing for me. Even at that, just watching, I guess this podcast comes out after Civil War, anyways.
oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Is just seeing him.
I'm gonna make the viewers hate Kyle.
Yeah, get
Just-
rid of the ratings juggernaut.
The ratings, Kyle. The ratings juggernaut Smith.
Just seeing him out there and just the way he acts with all the other big characters, just like, whoa, like, look at that arm. It's just like, what is that made out of? Just
That was so cool.
Hey Cap, big fan.
yeah. Like, it
Yeah.
was just seeing that just made you even more hyped, and like you felt like more of like, oh yeah, like back like being a kid. I felt like I was a kid seeing that again.
And it was funny, like he had the same reaction that the audience had, and that's what I liked the most. And he was just great in it. So like, I think like
That's
the
what I
title,
want Flash to be in Justice League if they do it right. I want Flash to be that. I don't know if they will, but Ezra's younger, so they could.
But no, we're gonna get super dark.
No,
but
they're gonna be super dark. Come
yeah,
on, don't have such wishful thinking like that.
So that's why like I think the
gonna get
title
raped.
is gonna be
really fast.
yeah
Because he's Flash.
done.
You didn't even know.
Yeah,
Your ass
but I
hurts a
know.
lot.
But yeah, that's why like I don't know. I think the title it's great. Like I think it's really tongue in cheek. I like it, but I want to see the story and I want to see the movie. I'm excited about it though.
Yeah. Now, how you don't know Vulture that well, so it's a Birdman. It's okay, but so Keaton
I
was
figured so.
and the time of the month, Keaton was in for about like a week and a half.
Michael
and then,
Keaton?
Yeah, he was going to be the villain, and then he pulled out. Now, two things: why are you sad about this? And if it's not Keaton, who could you see as the Vulture? You want me to go while you're thinking?
Yeah.
I should say. I'm happy Keaton dropped out because he's a great actor. I love him. But he's one of these people that I see him as Batman, even though Bale is my Batman and Ben Affleck might be my Batman by the time we get a solo, I still see him as Batman, and I feel like it's too iconic for me to see him play another character. It's the same way if Robert Downey Jr. was not playing Iron Man, I don't want to see him play a different comic role. Same way when Jackman's done Wolverine, I don't want to see him. There's some people that I associate too much with one character, and with Keaton, I thought, of course, he'd knock it out of the park, but there's a little part of me that's hoping that it wouldn't happen, because I don't want to see Batman, one, a Marvel movie, and two, do that. There's maybe always a small part of me that hopes we get like a Batman Beyond or a Dark Knight Returns with Michael Keaton, so that would be gone. And I know it will never happen, but I just didn't want to see the guy who played Batman to do that. I think there's sometimes they're too iconic in that role, and it would not devalue it, but I couldn't get past it. And my pick, he might be a little bit older now, but he was Sam Raimi's pick, is John Malkovich.
So I have a totally different reason why I'm kind of happy that he dropped out.
Okay.
I don't view him as my iconic Batman.
Yeah.
I just say as one of the Batman. It's kind of like James Bond.
Yeah,
it's like he's
that's
just
fair.
one of them. I don't know if you saw the trailer for The Founder.
Yeah, we talked about that. It looks so good.
So have you seen it?
No.
So it's the story of how McDonald's started with Ray Kroc, and like looks like he's actually gonna be the asshole that he is. And like I see him in that.
Roy Kroc, not Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
And like in
Birdman,
and I watched Spotlight. I wasn't a big fan. It seemed really paint by numbers Oscar
best
bait
pictures.
for me. But still, he was great in it.
Yeah.
So like I kind of it's like, oh yeah, that's fine. He's gonna be the Vulture. He's gonna go be great. But I kind of want him to keep doing these movies. Like
he doesn't have to go back. He's done it.
Yeah,
That's superhero stuff.
Exactly right. Like
and it's Batman. Like
and
Vulture could be good, but you can't get bigger than Batman.
No, and like The Other Guys is probably one of my favorite comedies, and like. He is so fucking funny in that movie.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And if he went back,
he's the chair or the sergeant.
The sergeant
really?
and the manager of Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
So there's a rapist out. Oh, so that's my other job. But actually, so you know, there is a rapist going pairs of cars. Like he's so funny in that movie. But like, so I just kind of wish that he'd do like just more stuff. I just want to see him in so many movies. So like with Vulture, I'd be excited to see him, but I want him to do other things. Yeah. I don't think that's really going to show how great of an actor he is and how talented he is.
Yeah.
I think it's a great role, but I could see John Malkovich. I don't have anybody that would stick out to me, personally.
No.
Because Marvel seems to like... Same with DC, actually, for that matter. They cast somebody, and you're like, really? And then you see it, and you're like, oh, yeah, that was good. Mm-hmm. Like, you see it with Heath Ledger as the Joker, even Ben Affleck as Batman. Even when, a lot of people forget this, when Robert Downey Jr. went on to Iron Man, no studio wanted to make a film with him.
No,
and
they wanted younger, too.
And Jon Favreau really had to push for him. It's like, look at Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I don't know if you ever saw that, but you should. No. Great film.
Oh, so fucking
And it's
good.
like, you know, yeah, he's not doing coke anymore. Like, he's great. He's awesome. And then you see Iron Man, and you're like, I can't picture anybody else in that role.
Yeah.
So whoever they do choose... I know they're going to knock it out of the park, but I kind of hope it's somebody that they bring back out of obscurity, an actor who, you know, had some but didn't, or even if it's somebody like Christoph Waltz.
Cage.
Yeah, but like Christoph Waltz did nothing in the really public eye.
I just don't want to see him as another villain for Waltz. I think I'm done.
No, but I'm just using him as an example.
No, well, it's a good idea. No,
just like, hey, what if somebody that we've never even heard of that is a phenomenal stage actor, or like a foreign actor, and you bring him in, and it's just like, wow. This is it. Yeah. So, you know, you never know.
Walking.
I just...
Hey, Spider-Man.
He's actually, I think, the weakest part of the Jungle Book, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And by saying he's the weakest part, he's still phenomenal in it. Like,
There's
that movie
no weakness
is...
in Christopher Walken.
Yeah. There's also a cowbell reference in it right before they introduce him. Which
No way.
I didn't get, and somebody pointed out, and I was like, oh my god. Like, the Mowgli picks up the cowbell and shakes it. And I keep shaking it, and then, like, he comes in, and you're like, oh, the cowbell! But...
There's not much to talk about this, because it's very sparse, the word, but William Dafoe's been cast in Justice League as, quote, a good guy.
I don't care. William Dafoe can do no wrong.
You know who William Dafoe is? The guy who played the Green Goblin?
He's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He's also in the Boondock Saints.
As a good guy?
Yeah.
I don't care. It's William Dafoe.
I don't
William
know.
Dafoe has yet to be like
Yeah, but I
to make
always see
something
him as
poor
like
in my
that
eyes.
antagonist type of character, even in the Grand Budapest.
He's also like the scariest looking motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I see him as a good guy. I'm like,
That's
oh,
the thing. I just don't know what good guy he does, and he's black, so it wouldn't work. But for a while, I was almost thinking Martian Manhunter, and maybe he's just doing the voice. But he's,
You know what? I don't care. I love William Dafoe so much. He could do. I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
care.
no, there's not much to say. I'm the same thing. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with William Dafoe in anything, but it's so funny that people are making jokes like first.
I haven't heard of that news actually. I'm excited about that now.
That's what this podcast is for, folks.
Yeah.
First I get J.K. Simmons. First I get William Dafoe. They're taking everything from Spider-Man 1.
Yeah,
Tobey Maguire's next.
Yeah, it's funny, like, because Travis doesn't show us the list of news, so he can kind of surprise us. But most of the times, we're like, oh yeah, like, I've heard of that. But every once in a while, he drops them, and you're like, oh, really?
Yeah, and this is great news.
And that's that. That's William Dafoe to me.
Yeah.
Because I think The Boondock Saints is, like, my favorite movie that he did.
We have
I always forget about the movie.
I love that movie so
So
much.
good.
about 5-ish pieces more news item, and we'll stick in the DC realm. There's two ones. Flash loses its director.
Mm-hmm.
He was the writer of Vampire Hunter and...
Like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Yeah, and something else that was not that good.
I'll look up his name.
It's Seth Graham something. If you put in whatever...
Vampire Hunter or Seth Graham?
I'm not sure which one you're going to search. It's really bugging me. He wrote something else.
Seth Graham Smith.
Yeah, can you click? He wrote Vampire Hunter and then one more thing. That's not the greatest.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows, yeah. So he's out, and they legit...
And Dark Shadows was like...
Beetlejuice.
Also, he's doing Beetlejuice too. I know, we're both on his IMDb page.
So... He's gone at Flash.
No.
They legit didn't even say scheduling conflicts. They legit said it's because of creative differences. So my thing is, not to shit on this guy. I'm happy. I like Flash. He's actually one of my favorite DC characters. I don't want a first time. He's never directed. He's just written. So, are you for this? Him not like my case is I'm fine with him not doing it because I want someone with a bit more experience. And if you don't have anybody if you have anyone in mind, say something. The guy I have in mind for some reason is Matt Reeves, the guy who directed The Last Planet of the Apes, because that Last Planet of the Apes so fucking good. He did the original Cloverfield, and I just think for some reason if you gave him Flash, he could
it's funny that you mentioned Cloverfield because I thought of Dan Trachtenberg, who just did 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I'm really behind. I've been seeing I have this list of movies I'm cracking down. Like I didn't see Zootopia, saw Zootopia, which is fucking.
Is it good?
Really?
I haven't seen that
good.
one yet.
Okay. So I'm like on this like hitman list of
Yeah.
like I've seen Zootopia now next, but
Okay.
Anyway, so like do you have anybody in mind? Like
him. Because it was
the only thing is Flash needs some humor, and that's where my Matt Reeves pick. I'm like, I don't know.
Wait till you see 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay.
That movie, with the exception of the ending, I find a little...
It was a little different.
Right?
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the film. But the rest
Yeah.
of the film is
Strong.
so spot on. It is
Yeah.
honestly, it's probably one of my favorite films of the year.
Yeah.
Like, I love Deadpool, I love Civil War.
Yeah.
But, like...
Is it like, I guess, more of a film?
As
than
an actual film,
Yeah.
I think it succeeds way more.
Mhm.
The ending is a little weak, and I'm sure our viewers will probably say, I didn't quite like how it ended.
Mhm.
But it makes sense in the old Cloverfield realm of things. But
Yeah.
the acting is so strong. There is humor in it. There's also
There's a bit
some
of humor, yeah.
some of the scariest moments I've seen in
Counts
theaters
brought it
in
down.
years.
Yeah.
There's not that much humor, but I think he could do a great job with
Yeah.
it. Because I guess he wrote that, went to J.J. Abrams and said, hey, I got the script, we filmed it, it's great. And then he goes, and J.J. Abrams produced it and said, hey, you know what? Why don't we, do it a little bit like this, a little bit like that? It was more just kind of like a
Guidance?
Godfather to it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do what you think, but it's like, hey, if you want to do this, you know what? I've done that in films before, and it doesn't really work. Try it like this.
Truthfully, if I had my pick, I'd have JJ direct, but I know he ain't gonna direct
No,
the Flash.
but
like I want someone like that, a younger up and coming guy that
Yeah.
has some films under his belt. I don't want a guy that hasn't directed a movie to be doing this. And like this is somebody that hopes to be an aspiring director. I wouldn't even trust myself. Like, oh, this is your first movie you're gonna direct? You're gonna direct The Flash, And like, of course, the person's gonna take it, but as a studio, I feel like you should be like, you know what? Let's get someone with a bit more
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I totally get that, but.
Which, speaking of experience, which just, once again, really makes no much sense with DC because they pick someone with less experience. Rumor is, it's a very small rumor, so take it for in the middle if you believe it or not. I fucking so hope this is true. The rumor is George Miller might be directing the Green Lantern movie.
Don't cock tease me like that. I've heard this rumor too, and like I know he was slated to direct the Justice League.
Oh, okay.
And also Babe Pig in the City.
Yeah,
like,
and
literally
Happy Feet.
And Happy. Everything he does is like Oscar worthy. I don't know what it is. Also with cute animals and severe.
I wouldn't say Happy Feet is an Oscar worthy movie.
Did that not win for Best Animated or something?
I don't think so.
Regardless, I absolutely love Happy Feet. Okay. I thought it was fun. I love musicals. Like I've done a lot of musicals myself. I fucking love them. Mm-hmm. I love George Miller. So like if he does Green Lantern, but my issue is because they want to do the Green Lantern Corps. Yeah. Now I heard this like because they don't know who they've cast yet. But like I've heard some people say
the rumors there's 3 leads. So there's obviously Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, and then either Guy Gardner or Kyle Rayner. That would
and I think that might be a little too much.
I want him to do more.
I've heard rumors that I know this is totally substantiated, and I've also been drinking.
Kyle
so rumor with me that like apparently like Ice Cube or Kevin Hart. Because they're big, like they're box office draws.
No.
That was just from Kevin Smith?
That's just Kevin Smith.
Okay, that's just Kevin, because I'm like...
I watched that podcast too last night.
Okay, I just watched that last night too. And I
that's
remember
who he wanted. He said, and this is the thing...
But that makes sense to me.
He also said Denzel, who I actually kind of want, because one of those fuckers has to be old. I don't want it to be 3 young 20-year-olds. I don't want Tyrese. Sorry.
It would be awful if
he's campaigning with it, and he's had meetings with Warner Brothers.
I know, and like... I've heard that too, and I was like, no, but I could see Kevin Smith or
Kevin Smith is good, but
Kevin Hart or Ice Cube because they are big box office draws.
I don't want that too comedic, and I don't want that because I don't want George Miller to be too comedic. I think you need. I think Guy Gardner or Kyle Rayner, that's your youngie. That's your guy you bring in. Anton Yelkin, someone that's young. You get maybe Guy Gardner's in the middle. Should be Nathan Fillion.
Anton Yelchin. He's a great actor.
He is in the middle, and then I feel like Jon Stewart should be
Star Trek.
Jon Stewart should be the old badass, which obviously he's not going to do it because
probably Denzel. Jon Stewart, because I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah, Idris Elba, because he's Hemdell, probably won't do it.
You know what? Actually, now wait till you see Jungle Book. He is he's a phenomenal actor. Wait till you see the Jungle Book. He's gonna go to that next level for you.
But he won't go to DC because of Marvel. That's what I'm saying.
That's
he's
true.
Stuck as Hemdell.
But I could see that. But like wait till you see the Jungle Book and you're like, man, is he? But also when he took that role, he was nobody. He had done Rock and Roll. I think was the biggest film that he had done prior to that.
I like the fit with George Miller. You're dealing with crazy characters, and you're dealing with space, which would be something cool to see George Miller with. But I agree with you. I don't know if an ensemble with like 3 Green Lanterns is
I think this would be a little much. Maybe like 1 or 2.
But anything he touched. Well, then again, Mad Max is kind of a 3-hander with Furiosa, Max, and what's his name?
Joe.
No. Who's Nicholas Hoult play?
Oh,
it's not Scrum,
he's
Nux.
Nux, the war.
So that's kind of a 3-hero arc.
But in all fairness, Mad Max doesn't have an arc in that. Only Furiosa has a smaller arc, but Nicholas Hoult has the biggest arc in that.
And Mad Max has a little arc. He helps the people out.
But he's more of like a vehicle to explore this world that is the Mad Max world.
But he has dealt with. That's what I'm saying. He has dealt with 3 people as main characters.
Yeah, and I think I want them to bring Mark Strong back as Sinestro.
Won't happen.
I know it won't, but like, man,
it's perfect.
No matter what Mark Strong does, like he's just another one of those actors. Like even The Eagle with Channing Tatum. I didn't really like that movie, but I saw it because Mark Strong was in it, and I was like, he was great in it, despite that movie being pretty awful.
Mm-hmm. I just think anything Miller touches, I'm fine with. He'll probably make it great. I'd actually rather him do Justice League, but as long as he does something.
Do we have any more news?
Almost. Why?
Well, I was gonna say because that'd be a good segue. Then when they talk about Justice League.
Oh, I have 4 quick ones.
Okay.
I think 4 quick ones because was one of your recommendations?
No, just so we could break into that last.
Oh, you just want to tear through.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Okay,
but let's go your 4.
Robert Downey Jr. is open to doing Iron Man 4, and the same week Jon Favreau says he and Marvel are thinking about doing more than just him producing.
See, I don't know if
Is that a wink, wink, nudge, nudge?
I don't know if I want another
Iron Man. He's the guy that directed the first 2 Iron Man, and he said he's thinking about coming back. And Rob Downey's like, I'm thinking about doing Iron Man 4 in the same week.
Jungle Book and Chef and Swingers.
Who should also do a Star Wars film?
Yeah, actually, that'd be a good fit too. I don't know if I want another Iron Man.
I do after Civil War.
No, see, that's the thing.
Is his license?
No, I'm fit. See,
With
I'm
Pepper?
the exact opposite. Because of Civil War, I like how he just has these cameos in it. And
I feel like there's already too many Iron Man films.
There's 3. It's the same as Cap and same as Thor.
I totally know where you're
You
going
have 3
with
Iron
that.
Man films plus Avengers.
But
Avengers 2.
But that still counts for the rest of them. Iron Man, by the end of next year, Iron Man, Thor, and Cap will be in the same amount of movies.
Right? And I could watch Thor movies till the day I die. But
Different bias.
that huge bias.
I think I'm going to be Team Cap on this one.
Yeah, and I like what they've... honestly, the Russo brothers, who also did Community, I didn't realize this
What,
until
really?
Civil War came out. Yeah.
And Arrested Development.
Yeah, and Arrested Development.
Really?
They were TV comedy.
I
And
thought
then
it was
they're
a bad idea when they got cast from a soldier. Like, this is not going to go well.
I didn't even know it. I saw the first Captain America, and I was like... Because they did that, too.
No, they didn't.
Were they not producers on that?
No, they weren't even involved. Not until Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Because everyone made a big stink and was like, stop looking at IMDb because you've been wrong every time you've been
because I looked them up and I thought I saw a credit on Captain America for them.
So you're in the same boat about no Iron Man 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just... I get it. I know who Iron Man is.
You would see it.
Of course, I still see it. Like, it's
Especially
still
after
Iron
the Civil
Man.
War hype.
Yeah, especially after the Civil War hype. But I don't know. I feel like I'm
never-
just more intrigued by Captain America than I am
I've been
with
telling
Iron
you
Man.
this for years, but everyone's like, fuck Captain America. But I think for me, because I worry with War and the next crossovers, you won't get to get much into his backstory. And if you look at Civil War, he's fucked up by people approaching him saying, you killed my son. Pepper's left him.
Yeah.
And the team's disbanded. And he found out, big spoilers, skip ahead 2 minutes if you haven't saw Civil War at all, that Bucky killed his parents.
Yeah.
So I feel like his life's complete shit, and I feel like an Iron Man 4 could be a really good redemption tale. It also happened after the next crossover, but
Yeah.
I guess that's where I'm the opposite of so much shit happened in his life. I would like to see a movie of seeing him deal with it and having Favreau back, the guy. I know you're not a big fan of Iron Man 1. I don't understand. But Iron Man 1...
I like it.
Of
I
what?
just don't Iron Man 1, the first one. I think it's good. I do.
It's
Everybody's
like almost perfect.
oh my
Rewatch it
god.
again.
It's all you need to before July. But to me, it's almost a perfect film, superhero film. And I just 2 not so much, but I don't understand why.
You know what's funny?
You're
I
the
don't
only
think 2 is
person
as bad as everybody says it is.
See, everyone hates 2, and he's like that, and then everyone loves 1. You're like, eh. You're the only person I met that has not been like Iron Man. Is like,
What happened to
All
Iron Man
10.
2 again?
shit.
That was with
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, where he was Whiplash,
Oh.
It's
and
not
he
that good.
hid the Peter. But I also had Sam Rockwell, who I just fucking adore. But no, an Iron Man film, I'd rather him be because I heard he's doing a cameo in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
They haven't said. They just said he's gonna be in it, which I was kind of mad that they announced that.
But he's gonna be in it, so I'd rather him be like, hey, you know what? They've signed me for another 5-picture deal.
Yeah.
But I can just do cameos.
But I think they already pretty alluded in Civil War that Iron Man is working with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why it's a surprise for you.
No,
That
I
it's
don't
gonna
like
be-
that they announced it before
it.
the movie came out.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, spoiler, he survives. Downey.
Oh, fair enough.
I guess so.
Yeah.
See, we've already
Us-
seen the movie, so it's kind of like
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, of
Whatever.
course. But
before it came out. So
they
I'm
announced
just
this
over
2 weeks ago when we record this. And that's 2 weeks before Civil War. So it was one of these things of and Iron Man's one person you could have thought might die because he didn't have a movie coming out.
Yeah.
I know there's a good chance he wouldn't
Yeah.
die, but still, there's a chance. And I was like, really? You couldn't just hold that? You couldn't just fucking hold that till the weekend after Civil War and be like, guess what, Iron Man, you had announced it 2 weeks before. So it's like,
But you know what? How many people actually read comic books? I think that's another thing that we really need to address. I mean, obviously,
but
our
people
viewers
still
do.
might think he
But,
could die.
There's
I
people
don't feel like
there-
people would know that.
Yeah, there's
he's
people
playing-
like my brother that love comic book movies and they read it as kids, but they aren't all that familiar with the stories that have been like, holy fuck, somebody dies in that? Where it's like, oh man, another Iron Man's coming out. I can't wait to see Civil War. I'm gonna see what happens with this character.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I it's funny. I don't want another Iron Man movie for kind of just different reasons than you do. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
That's fair.
I just want him.
I
to
like
go,
Iron Man.
I don't want Robert Downey Jr. to go away.
Yeah.
I just want him to be man. If you just even if you walked by in Black Panther, just they're doing a scene whatever, and they're just in an airport and he just walks by to a connecting flight. I'd be like, that was great. Iron Man's cameo, spot on.
Last bit of news before we get into our
Big topic.
the one he wants to tell. Officially, it was a week before this came out. I'm very happy. They signed up for a while. Punished for a Netflix series confirmed.
Let's go.
Gonna be happening.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I am so fucking excited.
Okay.
I would give.
I'm gonna leave.
I'm
gonna get voted off.
my only complaint is that it's not out right now. So
They should have like Bethesda it and be like, and it's out tomorrow.
Yeah, so I've just finished Daredevil, so like I'm all on the Daredevil hype.
So he does not have to see BVFs again. That's a bet we made.
Yeah,
he said if he had not seen it by the next roundup, that he had seen BVFs.
Yeah, and
so that motivated him.
Not that our viewers know, but I am quite poor, so this would be a struggle, not just to see that movie, but very financially trying.
I had a free pass. I would give it to him.
But John Bernthal. Like, I love him. Like, he's a great actor. Like, I loved him on The Walking Dead. I know you haven't... Have you seen Fury?
No.
Okay, that's right. You haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen Fury?
He is so good in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like...
I'm going to watch it before the summer.
And I remember seeing the trailer for him as the Punisher. I was like, as him as a Punisher, I already know he's going to kill
I remember when he was cast, I was like...
I thought you were on the fence about it.
Yeah, you were on the fence.
I knew he was going to do
fam.
good. I don't remember saying that, but I also don't remember a lot of things.
You should go back and listen to the last roundup and see how like semi-high you're on.
Because we were pretty pumped on it.
Because
you were like,
you know what? I was all like, Thomas Jane was a great Punisher.
Yeah.
Also, somebody that I should have had like not the movie. Him as the Punisher. I was like,
he's
I like
too
that.
lighthearted in the movie. Where John Bernthal don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and like, but you know what I thought? I just kept picturing every scene. He'd be like, now this is a visual, y'all can't see this, but him rubbing his head going,
he brings this up.
Let me ask you something. That's what I was thinking.
Every time we talk about John Bernthal, the head
Let me ask you something. And that's what I thought it was going to be somewhere. And he does have this one acting tick, is before he's about to deliver a big line, he looks to the side and then back at
that's
you
fine,
and
he's
leans
adjusting,
in.
you know? He's
Because he did that a lot of The Walking Dead, and then I noticed that in Daredevil, but he is so good. Like that scene, spoilers, that scene in the cemetery where he talks about how his family died.
Killed me.
Done.
Wrecked me.
Done.
I was in tears.
I've never felt so much pain.
I think we talked about it when I picked you up today. Like, I like Karen-ish.
He wants Karen Daredevil being with Karen over like
I like that better.
Yeah,
I like that better.
You're the only person I've met. Everyone's like,
I think
Daredevil, Elektra, ship it. I've told you
because I think that
when they want to run away together is so romantic. You're like,
is.
Run away with her, Matt. Go, run, Matt, go. Elektra's crazy and she's hot and she's gorgeous and she's so nice, but mean. Do it.
But I think Karen.
It's Karen.
Yeah, but that grounds him to the real world, and I think that really brings him back to why he is who he is, and I think that's important.
No,
but regardless,
ship it.
Like every scene,
he needs happiness,
especially in the diner. That scene with Karen and the Punisher, John Bernthal, was so good. Like everything he did in that, like I was kind of waiting for him to just be like, "Let me ask you something," but he didn't. He blew it away. He was so good. And wait till you see Fury. And like
Fury's really
like
good.
He plays angry.
Oh, I know.
Really, really.
In my
really
we didn't get to in the next round repeat, but the next round repeat, I'm gonna go over my man crush list, and I'm adding him. I'm at 10. I officially have 5. You want to do man crush?
Yeah, I would love to do a man crush.
Okay, that's good. I have 10, and I'm adding 5, and he's one of them.
Okay, 15. So we're doing 15 top 15 man.
No,
crushes.
you don't have to.
We're doing it. We're doing like a
if
fucking
you want
list.
to. I've had 10 for the past 5, but he's going added. Kyle,
Is number
Austin.
1 Fassbender?
What?
Number 1 Fassbender.
I don't have them ranked in like good.
Right.
I have them ranked in like over time. So that's why Sean Penn's my first, because that's why I created the list. It was like, I'm not gay, but like I feel something for Sean Penn, and I don't know why.
I don't, because it's sort of like the first movie I ever saw of him was Mystic River, and then the next movie was Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
movies,
and it's like, who is this man?
Even though there is 2 people on the list, Fassbender and Mickelson, that maybe could convert me. I don't know it.
Nicholson?
Really? That accent? Oh man, you know what Hannibal like, and just you think.
Oh, Matt Nicholson.
Who do you think I said?
Jack Nicholson.
No,
like
Jack
for
Nicholson
you, man.
is somebody I would go on a road trip with in a second, like Jackie.
Yeah, as
like
long as he's paying, because you know it's gonna be a bananas time.
Mickelson, a weekend away, he might coerce me somehow. His Hannibal charm. Kyle, Punisher series.
I'm so excited.
You're excited?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Man,
I've been waiting for them to announce this so badly.
My only question is, do you know anything about the storyline they're gonna pick?
There's a lot. Punisher's been for a while. I kind of hope, even though he's doing his Daredevil thing, that Fisk is kind of in there.
My only thing with the Daredevil storyline,
because those Fisk Punisher scenes were
were they good?
So that fight scene,
you know what? I love that, and they did that undershot of him going like that, and it really shows Fisk as like an animal. Which
but
is
at the
great,
same time, he couldn't beat Punisher up without Punisher being cuffed. That's what I like. That he didn't beat him at their fight.
And he knows it.
Yeah, he knows
and like,
it.
Oh man, like I cannot speak highly enough.
And just that he's letting him out, just a like kill everybody. So when he
Yeah.
gets out there, it's like all mine.
The only complaint that I have about the Punisher storyline in Daredevil is I thought Blacksmith was a little underdeveloped.
That's my. We talked about this in we did Daredevil review. That is one of my
and
biggest
I love Clancy Brown when he came in the court scene. I was like, yeah, my boy, Mr. Krabs,
because they built up Blacksmith to be somebody, and then it was like, oh, his war buddy.
And I would have been okay with that if they would have let a couple episodes for him to develop a bit.
It was really quick.
Yeah, it was all of a sudden like
he's bad, and I've kidnapped Karen. It's like
it was funny. Like,
here we go.
They when Karen was like asking him questions, we're sitting there, and like I had made a couple like when I was watching with my girlfriend, a couple just grandiose assumptions. I'm like, that's the Blacksmith. That's who it is. And just like stupid shit. Like
I thought it was him the second I saw. Oh look, it's fucking Clancy Brown. He plays the villain in everything.
Yeah, but because he does so many like guest spots.
I know.
I was like, okay, cool.
He's a villain in Flash.
And they brought him back, and I was like.
Something's
and all of a sudden, it was this, and they showed him at the war. That goes, "It was a good kid." And then they showed him like this flashback of the guy dying, and I was like, "He's the Blacksmith! Yeah. Oh my god, he's the Blacksmith!" And then it was kind of like, oh,
it was kind of let down because for a while I actually thought it was Bullseye, and I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be good."
Right? I was waiting for him to come in that series because I purposely didn't watch any trailers or hear anything about Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be a surprise, but
yeah, I don't know.
I'd be interested in what the story is,
could be,
but I'm so excited for this series.
It's gonna be good. Daredevil we probably won't get 2018 season 3 to be honest, because next year Defenders comes out, so they're filming that. So that one I can't wait.
Sorry, and like I was looking at this. Defenders is gonna be Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones.
Yes,
which is gonna be sick.
Jones and Murdoch need to bang like no other. But now he's with Karen, so it won't happen.
Doesn't matter. He's a sex addict. He can bang whoever he wants.
He's also,
he is in the comics. Also,
he is. He's a womanizer, but in the show so far.
No, he's not. But we need more. We need more Rosario Dawson. We must have more.
She's
more
in Luke
Rosario
Cage.
Dawson.
I think she's gonna play his love interest.
Good. We need more of her.
But yeah, I want a big time Jones and Daredevil sex scene. So
more
then
anal.
Luke Cage. Then we get a good. Yeah.
Yeah, we get a 3-way with Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Murdoch. He's deaf, and he's like, "Oh no, you're
Murdoch's a good Catholic boy, so I don't know if he's gonna be going down that.
Yeah, we totally just wrote like a terrible fan fiction.
Yeah.
But no, I'm so excited for that. Although I don't know about Iron Fist.
It's gonna be good.
I know it's gonna be good. It's Marvel.
Then why are you saying you don't know?
Because the whole thing like, hey, is he not? Because I know I'm not familiar with Iron Fist. Was he Asian in the comics?
No, we've talked about
he was a white guy.
He was a white guy.
I know everybody's making a big deal about it, and I'm wondering if because of the backlash of it, they're gonna change certain.
No,
things.
you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna watch the first 2 episodes and be like, whatever, and then they're gonna go in. You have to read. Like, I don't know if there's a graphic novel of it, but because I have my computer, we bought it, and that's this run, and it's like I think it's like 20 issues called just The Immortal Iron Fist, and it's about him like learning his powers and whatnot. If they follow that, he might be in my top 10 because he's this minor character, but he has this cool personality. He's like a smaller Spider-Man as far as cockiness, but then he's a billionaire like Bruce Wayne. So it's like this thing.
Yeah. I really know nothing about him besides he punches people.
I think you'll like it, and it's gonna be like the really mystic version of it.
And
it's
I also really like the
Doctor
actor.
Strange.
So he's very good. Like I really liked him on Game of Thrones. So like I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not overly familiar with it. But I'm so excited for the Defenders. Did Jessica Jones get announced for a second season?
It did, but no date. Because I think they're doing the Defenders and then everything will come after. And they haven't said if the Defenders is a miniseries or a 2-hour movie. Because some people are rumoring that it might be a movie. I don't know what I want.
My only issue with Jessica Jones Season 2 is Kilgrave is such a strong villain.
It's going to be very tough.
Yeah, whoever they cast has got to have big shoes to fill. So I'd be interested to see where that goes. But
yeah. So, should we get into this topic that you've done?
So, I'll let you guys say your piece about it.
So, this is the quote. This is back in 2008, so people change.
People don't change.
People don't change.
This is about Zack Snyder. Some quotes have come out recently that people aren't too keen about, especially at this table. I'm not fully hating on the guy. I still think he's talented. I don't think he's a jerk. I don't think he's an idiot. I think he just maybe doesn't understand fully where it's going. So
I think he's done some great films.
This is outlining Zack Snyder's thought on the superhero film or superhero genre in 2008. I had a buddy who tried getting me into normal quotes comic books, but I was all like, no one is having sex or killing each other. This isn't really doing it for me. I was a little broken that way, so when Watchmen came along, I was like, this is more my scene. He upped the ante and said he didn't feel the genre was going quite far enough. Everyone says that Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins is Batman's dark. I'm like, okay, no, Batman's cool. He goes to Tibetan.
Tibet.
Tibet.
But why is there an N? Is it silent?
No, it's probably just a...
He goes somewhere to train my ninjas. And we train my ninjas, and they said, okay, I want to do that, but he doesn't, like, get raped in prison. That could happen in my movie. If you want to talk about dark, that's how that would go. And then he shed a little bit light on the Marvel Universe. He said, the Marvel Universe has gone nuts. We're going to have a frickin' Captain America if we're not careful. Thor 2. We're on our second Hulk movie on Iron Man. 300 million domestic box office, second tier superhero. Which I don't know. I guess he was saying that those movies are just not that good. So, what do you...
Okay. Kyle, give your thing before I go off on him.
I really have not much to say. I'll say, because I have a quick one, that I just think that I'm just ready for him to not do this. I think he does not have the greatest vision of what a comic book movie could be or a Batman movie, and that's my opinion, because I know you're going to go, and then Liam's going to...
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a little too dark. I feel like again, I'm going to go back to the audience. Is superhero movies meant for almost all ages, at least, or...
The
majority of ages. This is the biggest thing. And to go somewhere real dark, like...
Batman getting raped.
Yeah, Batman getting raped. When Travis sent me that, I stopped reading. And I just took that direct quote and sent it to him. Like, into a group chat that Liam, Travis, and I have. I was like, what? Like, this
We made so many terrible jokes.
Yeah.
We made horrible jokes. But at the same time, like, that's so... way far out, like...
He doesn't grasp the concept of these certain characters, and it now makes me do wonder if Watchmen, he did his style good, but is it just because the material of Watchmen's so good that it was still a good movie?
I'm going to agree with you on that one, actually, because the material of Watchmen was, kind of gritty like that, and I think that worked well for him.
And someone does get raped in that movie, so it's like, okay.
Okay, even like 300, well, 300 is pretty gory and like...
Yeah, there's lots of sex and boobs.
Yeah, and I think it's more up his alley, but to have like a superhero film be more like that, I think is a little much, to be completely honest.
And I think before you go, that he misses the point of Batman Begins, like, it's no dark like him getting raped, but it's still, Nolan's trilogy is still dark, especially considering what came before it.
Yeah.
The superhero movies were very light
Was
and
the
bright
last
and
movie
fun.
not bat nipples?
Well, yeah, and it was like freeze puns and everything like that. Like, it is a darker tone than what has come before.
Polar bear
it.
slippers.
I thought, to be honest, that I don't think superhero movies should be any darker than that. I thought that was before BVS.
Unless it is a rated R, like a Watchmen.
Yeah, if it's like
or even B for Vendetta
yeah, stuff like that, yeah.
And I think the other quote I have a problem with is, we bring it up in Rant Right Please, so I won't say, but it is that whole thing of like, this isn't for me because it's not sex and killing, and it's one of these things of like, well, maybe you're not in the right genre, you know?
I completely agree with you as well too. Again, just I feel like he's just not being. He's not directing the right role.
No. Yeah.
And
we're saying similar things but different.
Yeah, same but different.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know. It's not a good match. And after watching BVS, it was just all over the place and just didn't make any sense.
And you understand that. You watch that, and there's things that I still think it's a mediocre movie.
Yeah.
I like parts of it.
Oh yeah,
I like a miracle movie.
Mediocre movie.
Oh, mediocre. Okay.
Mediocre.
And there's parts I like,
Wow.
but there is, and other quotes he said, not even as bad, but other quotes that I've sent you guys about certain things about ending and Superman stuff you talk about. I don't ever feel like he has a grasp on it, or I feel like maybe he's just over his head and it's too much for him.
Okay.
So Liam is set up.
Yeah, I think it's just more. I'm just really waiting or delaying Liam because it's fun to watch him just struggle. He just wants to blur out how much he loves Zack Snyder.
Well, folks, that's it. No.
Thanks for
next month you'll hear Liam's thoughts. Okay, what do you think about?
So I'm gonna start with the first one about him not liking sex and killing.
That it wasn't his comic book movie. I'll always preference say in the
that's true.
back.
So comic books are for kids. That's the biggest thing we gotta remember. Where do we all learn about comic books? Was as children.
Animated series, video
And
games,
animated series, video
toys.
games, whether it be so.
You look up to these people.
To say that there's not enough sex and drugs in that when you're not the target audience, that's like saying, "Oh, I really wish Shrek would have really fucked up Fiona in that movie."
Well, I do. No.
Yeah,
That's the one thing I was missing. I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck
it's-
Shrek.
the
Yeah,
dog
it's-
fighting the dragon.
Yeah, it's never ogre. But like,
is
so
Massimo.
saying that's like, or like for other kids' movies too. Like even a lot of people forget this. Like Star Wars was meant to be a kids movie. So people say, I want to see a really dark Star Wars. Yeah, as an adult, but as a kid, you gotta go back and like, hey, these are what these movies are for. Batman.
And you can have dark elements.
You can have dark elements, and
Because
that's why
Star Wars does. All
And,
Star
yeah,
Wars
and
does.
Nolan did a really good job of having those dark elements and that play of morality, especially with the Joker and Batman. So I don't think Zack Snyder is smart enough to understand what these are. Because to me, those comments sound like a Michael Bay of filmmaking. I want substance over story. I want style over actual character development. And you see that in his films. Now, The Watchmen, I think he made a good point on how that movie is... He did a good job of that because the material is so good. And a lot of people say, oh, you didn't take it far enough or whatever, right? There are so many things that you didn't touch upon, but it's also a movie in like, what is the final cut? Like 2.5 hours before the
and
director's cut?
Watchmen is huge. The
Yes, it
graphic novel.
really
There's
is.
so much to
Massive.
cover.
And like every time I reread that novel, I get something else out of it. So I think that, and when you look at 300, I love 300, but that is a visual spectacle more than it is character development and story.
Yeah, and you know that going in.
And you do. You know that going in. Whereas then you look at Sucker Punch, that is all visual and absolutely a terrible story. It's literally just like a music video. It's awful. What else did he do? What was the last one that he did? It was Batman vs Superman, Sucker
Man of
Punch,
Steel.
and then Man of Steel. Man of Steel is another one. You clearly don't understand what Superman is. Superman doesn't kill. He also doesn't destroy an entire goddamn city. There's all these things that you're like, I know you're putting this in because you think it looks cool, but that's not what the character's about. And I have an issue with that, of him being like, oh, I want more sex and violence in it. And it kind of seemed like even with like the bathtub scene in Batman vs
That's
Superman.
exactly what I thought about. Because we
yeah.
talked about on GeekVerse and
GeekVerse.
Dynamic
Yeah,
Duo
and
that scene did not need to be in the bathtub. Right when I saw it,
It didn't need to be in it.
and it
that
took
was
away because Amy Adams is a very attractive person.
very
and you
attractive.
see her,
and a phenomenal actress.
her physique almost being exposed and whatnot. And
I'm
that's
so unfortunate for her.
and
in
then
that role.
and then to demean her
man.
like that,
I'm
to
not
make her
saying
just
that.
like an object for Batman as opposed to the strong character that she is in the comics, to an extent, just to make her another one of those, like just to like have her as a visual thing in that bathtub scene. It didn't need to be in there, and it proves that he's going for the lowest common denominator, such as Michael Bay films, and that really bothers me. That you have to realize what these are for. There's comic fans that have liked Batman from like. Okay, so I'm gonna use my brother just because he's 10 years older than us. So from like the 80s onward, right? That are like, we grew up with Batman. Now we'd like a little bit of a darker Batman, and Nolan did that. I know, like I've seen Batman Begins with my nephew, and he doesn't understand most of the stuff that's going on in that movie realistically. But he goes, "Oh man, I love when Batman's fighting those guys because it's Batman. He's a superhero. That's what it's all about." And I don't like that he goes, "Oh, it needs more sex and violence." It really doesn't. Maybe like The Watchmen, yes, there is sex and violence in it because it's very integral to the story. Because Alan Moore did The Watchmen. Yeah. Just so I don't, because I always get him and Frank Miller like my pinnacles. Yeah. But like you see Alan Moore's stories as they're not. You know, you don't have your carnal desires in it. It's in it and it affects the characters, but it's not the point of the story. It's not the point. Like in 300, for example, it's not the point to show all the
semi-plot
violence.
device or something.
But it matters to the story.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
it's
it
very
is.
integral, and that really bothers me. And then to address the whole, I want to see Batman get raped. First of all,
He didn't say that. He said he would consider that a dark film. He says what Nolan does is not dark, just so I can defend. No, I'm not defending, but just say what he's saying.
Okay.
He said that he doesn't get why people see that as being dark because he thinks something like Batman being raped would be dark. And then he did say that what would happen in my movie. Clearly, it did not happen in BVS unless there's something in that 3-hour cut that we're going to have a rude awakening when we plug it in.
Goodness.
But
Jeremy Irons just going to town on him.
wow.
No,
Mr. Wayne.
oh, Batgirl's no.
There's a reason she's in that wheelchair. It's not the Joker. There's not a rape joke. It was just Bruce being powerhouse.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's like, I love these guys. They're making
So and then
jokes.
I have an issue with that. That's not dark. Dark is. Well, admittedly, dark is subjective.
That would be dark.
For example,
To be honest,
do you
that
find
would be
Breaking
dark.
Bad dark?
Yes.
Okay, I find Breaking Bad terribly heartbreaking and tragic because I have a family that was affected by crystal meth in a very personal way.
I find the first half season light and comedic and kind of what happened? But then as it gets
the way that the story develops, it made me very uncomfortable as someone that is very
close to the situation,
close to drug addicts and that. And so, like, I didn't even finish Breaking Bad. I can't finish it. I don't like it. Yeah. That's dark to me. So dark is very subjective. However, Batman getting raped, just making those comments very offhanded, I find that very offensive. That he would even say, like, oh, it's only dark unless somebody gets raped.
Yeah.
No, Batman branded somebody in Batman vs. Superman, which is also something that I don't agree that Batman would do.
No.
So there's very dark elements, and I feel like if you're like, oh, like Nolan's Batman's not dark. The Joker is a very dark character.
Yeah.
He literally put two people with bombs on that boat and said, now you choose. That's dark. That is like a Sophie's choice of morality. And I have a huge issue with him being like, no, it's not dark enough. I want to go darker. Okay, how do you want to go darker? And then the fact that he mentioned rape in that way, I have a huge issue with.
And at the end of the day, too, we harp on how we don't want to see it, but Batman's origin story, to me, is probably still the darkest origin story there is. Lots of superhero parents, people die, but, like, Peter's were in a plane crash, blah, blah, blah. His parents are literally shot. Yeah. His parents were literally...
I feel like that's been retconned a lot. I know it's kind of a side note, but...
But, like, the original plane crash, they're gone.
Okay.
Hey, Aunt May. Oh, Ben's gone, too. But, like... The original is they get shot, a kid sees his parents shot in front of him, and to me, that's already dark enough, you know? And that's the thing of, like... I don't feel like, oh no, Batman has a pretty good life or pretty even kill life, but if he were to get raped, well, that would make this hero.
Yeah, that would make him actually Batman. Yeah. No, there's so many other things that would push him to vigilantism.
Just even saying that out loud, like Batman gay rape, it just seems so comedic. I find not in a way against rape, but just in a way of like.
I think it's funny that you think that's what makes it dark, and I find that very offensive, and the fact that like that makes me worried about the DCU. Because I think DC has a lot of great characters and a lot of great stories that could really transfer well to the big screen. And I think Marvel's proven that these characters, like in Civil War, you have a very conflicted morality between Captain America and Iron Man, but it's also explained.
Yeah.
And it's explained very well. You don't see that in Batman vs. Superman. And also, I don't feel that he's smart enough to address what these issues is. I think he thinks he is, but he's not, and that's why I think the DCU will fail.
Do you think he is, or do you think
because... I think he's an idiot. I think he thinks visual is just like... I think he's the new Michael Bay. I think he thinks visual is the same as story.
But do you think he's the one posing these questions like, yeah, this is a really great idea? Or do you think he's posing these questions because Nolan had posed these questions but done it a lot better?
You know what I think it is?
Following Nolan.
I think the writers are...
Doesn't he even... Well, wasn't it... He was asking Nolan, like, how he should end it?
Well, yeah, everything's kind of contradicted. Like, he did, and this is, I don't understand this. He said, like, he got his approval to use Batman, and obviously Nolan can't give his approval. He doesn't own the character, but he was not really for it. Like, he didn't make it sound glowing. Like, he didn't give a glowing review of, like, Sex and like, yeah, he had a problem with it, but then he said, like, Christopher Nolan's response was, like, well, I guess once you're done with it, somebody else is going to do it. But that wasn't a full, like, yeah, you should do it. And even with Superman dying, he was against that as well. So it's
and that's my biggest issue with Batman vs. Superman is you have the death of Superman shoved in there. You have the Dark Knight shoved in there. And I think there's a couple more.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is shoved in there. Lex is shoved in there. Doomsday is definitely shoved in there.
Batman's origin again.
Yeah, and setting up the entire Justice League via email.
Yeah,
which is
Justice League
so
emails.
fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, like... I would never fashion myself as I could be a director, but I probably could be an actor. I mean, that's probably my own hubris. But, like, to do it via email, even I know, I was like, that's fucking lazy. You could do it better.
That one I'd have to wait and see because I don't know. That feels a very studio thing. I'm just saying,
honestly, man, I think Tommy Wiseau could have done a better fucking intro to the Justice League than via email.
I'm going to say no.
If you don't know Tommy Wiseau, he did The Room, which is probably the best...
I'm still going to say BVS is better than The Room.
It is, but that being said, I would rewatch The Room. I wouldn't rewatch BVS.
I would.
Have you seen BVS or The Room?
No.
It is so bad.
What is it? Like, is it a horror movie?
No, it's...
Oh, my God.
It's honestly, it's like one of those movies that it's so bad, you're like, Did you think this was good? Like, it plays like a comedy.
Was it like that Keanu Reeves movie?
Yes,
but worse.
Oh no,
but funnier. At the
Because
same
Knock
time.
Knock at some time felt like they were kind of in on the joke. But this is kind of sad because this guy's not in on the joke. And like
so
for years
funny.
he said he meant it to be a comedy, but the people that were filming were like, no, like he took this seriously.
No, he did.
Maybe we'll do a commentary track. I want it before Liam does. I want to do a commentary track on Knock Knock and The Room. Maybe we'll watch.
Seriously, we should do Knock Knock. Have you seen that? Oh, you fell
He
asleep.
fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
It is
We should
so
watch
shitty.
them
So
back to
tired.
back, and then.
Honestly, I don't know if I can kill that many brain cells in one night, but I'd like to
You guys
give it a
can
go.
So, do you have anything to say about continuing?
It just really bothers me that Zack Snyder is filming the DCU.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good characters, and like, I know there's a whole DCU versus Marvel fanboyish, and the reason that I'm a Marvel fanboy
Which
currently.
stop if you're that person. Don't make death threats and don't be
Yeah.
an idiot online. Because someone made a death threat to like a podcaster because they didn't like BVS and said they were gonna kill her, and they had like put a picture of emoji and a gun in her head. Like at the end of the day, comic books is I'd almost say my life. It's next to professional wrestling my favorite thing. They're fake, fictional fucking characters.
Yeah.
They don't matter. I'm mad about BVS, being disappointed, but at the end of the day, I care more
I'm mad
about
'cause it
these
could've
guys
been
that are
good.
my friends. I care about my
Yeah.
girlfriend. I care about my dog. I care about my family. At the end of the day, BVS being bad is disappointing, yes, but it does no way affect my life in any way that, like, man, my life sucks now at BVS.
I'll
It's
say
a
this
fucking
until Warcraft
fake
comes out,
film.
but
Oh.
Wow.
no, I totally agree with you, and like,
And who cares if, like, I don't care. If I meet someone that doesn't like Marvel, I'd ask, okay, why? And I'd pick their brain. But if you don't like Marvel, I'm like, well, fuck you.
That was the best part of coming out of BVS was this girl's like, man, that was 100 times better than any Marvel movie I've ever seen.
you're wrong, but I respect your opinion.
But you can like what you like, but that's the thing. Let people like what you like.
Yeah, it's very
and you can
subjective.
like
Yeah.
both. I like both, and I've
Yeah, I
admitted,
love both.
and I like Marvel more because we've talked about already on the same podcast. I gravitate to more of the characters, so it's like I like more of the characters in Marvel. I like Marvel more,
And
but
I think that's only because Marvel picks better, for the movies at least, better writers and directors.
and I'm just talking comics
And,
because over the
for
years
com-
I've read
for
more
comics-
Marvel than DC because anytime I pick them up,
Yeah.
I've always come back. to
I've
Marvel.
definitely done more Marvel only because you're right. The characters, like, there's Wolverine, there's
We've talked about the heroes are very good. Where DC, their villains when they come play are
the
good, but if the
villains are
villains
way better.
disappear
Marvel's villains are
sometimes,
terrible.
but if villains disappear for like let's say a few arcs, then that's why you might not read
Yeah.
that.
So, and it just bugs me that Zack Snyder's taken over the it really makes me mad that Zack Snyder's doing the DCU because I think these characters, pardon the pun, deserve justice more so than he could give.
Yeah.
Because they are so good. They do have that duality that would make such an interesting movie.
Example
He
A,
just doesn't give it.
if you don't want to read a comic book, go watch the Justice League cartoon, and you might be like, man,
Yeah.
it's an animated show.
That's
I'm not in
actually a
that
good
show.
point.
Can't animate it like the 90s. No, like Phantasm for Batman, the animated series, I own all these, and you can see how things can work. And the thing is, back to the rape thing, Batman can be a dark character, but his main thing is he's kind of a dark character, and people that are lighter or view the world differently. That's what I hate about
Yeah.
this new DCEU, or whatever it's called. Is I feel like everything's going to be dark. Even Wonder Woman, who could be light, it even looks like her film, just like the lighting of it is dark.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, there is a right way to do it, and what is happening right now, if BVS is the way you're looking at it, is not going to be the right way. I don't want to see a
You're talking
Justice
about
League
DCU
like that.
in
Yeah, the
general?
DCU, like the
Yeah.
films. Yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
say, if you don't think it can work, or you don't know what we're talking about, and you don't want to jump in the comic books, go watch a couple episodes of the Justice League Unlimited or whatnot. If you're
There's-
American, they're on Netflix right now, and they're
Particularly,
fucking
there's
phenomenal.
a movie that's on the Canadian Netflix. It's
Flashpoint
a Justice.
Paradox?
No, it's a Justice League movie where it's.
War?
Is that the one where they switch and they go to the alternate universe?
No.
And all
what
the villains are the good guys and all the evil guys are the evil people.
I can't remember what the fuck.
Because it was like
is.
the Joker is the Batman of this universe and the Batman is evil.
Oh,
I know which
man,
one, because the
that's
cover
good.
is them, and it's like they're characters, but they're split in half, and it shows like their evil
and,
version.
Like, I watched that with my nephew, and,
and
like,
Lex is a good guy.
and it's funny. Like we were watching it like late night. He
Isn't
fell
this a
asleep.
from a comic book?
They're usually all
It,
pulled
it
from
could be,
comic
and then
book.
I'm sitting there just like hand in my heads, and heads in my head, my hand.
He's a serial killer.
Yeah, and I was like, it was so engrossing. Like the DCU has so much potential, but it's just not being realized, and I think that's the biggest shame.
And we said this last thing, and I'll echo it too, and I don't know if people take it this way, and I still like Marvel more, but there is a more cinematic, even the comic books I feel more...
Yeah.
I always feel Marvel is a fun popcorn flick, can get deep at times, but it's more fun where DC is very cinematic, and I've said this before, if they got everything right, they could come up on Marvel and even pass them, you know, and it's the same thing of, you look at the competing times, you had Iron Man and Dark Knight come out at the same time, and Avengers and Dark Knight Rises come out at the same time. And you have this thing of, like, Marvel's delivering this fun, action, comedic, really good time. And then Nolan's over here delivering these great films that are being considered for Oscars. Maybe not Rise, but still, at the time, people were like, could it be a contender? Yeah. These are not
I enjoy Rises more than a lot of people do.
Me too. But I think we're all like that. But it has its flaws, but still, it's like... It
definitely does.
It's no... I could list you, if you go read my article on GeekVerse podcast, I could list you 25 to 50 movies that are worse than Rises. To me, it's a BVS, and I heard... I can't remember who... Oh, I think Christian Harloff said this on Schmoes, and he said that Rises is a good film with flaws, but BVS is a flawed film with good things.
Yeah, and I would agree with that.
And that's what I mean. Even in BVS, there is some good stuff, like Batman fight scene and Ben Affleck, but that's what I mean, like... We don't have that. And I know I'm going to sound like a big fanboy and whatnot, and someone might say, oh, whatever, it's not my Batman, blah, blah. But, like, this is a time where I really, really do miss Nolan. I really miss... And I don't know if he would have masterminded, I don't know, but I feel like he could have done it. I feel like if somehow they coerced him into... If he said, you know what, after Rise, he stuck around, even if he wasn't directing... Like, Kevin Feige doesn't direct fucking Marvel movies. No. He's running it. Even if Nolan was like, hey, we're going to pay you money to be a consultant. We're going to pay you money to do this and that. Like, this is the time, because I felt like he had a vision. This is the time where I do really miss Nolan, because Nolan gets what he's going for, and I don't think he would have ever been like, man, like, Batman needs to get raped to be dark, you know? And I feel like he made his films dark enough by what he did, you know, in that trilogy. So, Kyle, you have anything to say?
No, that was quite a good rant.
Yeah.
And of you, Liam, as well too. I think it just touched points again on what I was saying before. It just feels so out of place that this BVS and everything that's happening. Even though I can see I kind of can see where Zack Snyder wants to go, kind of Christopher Nolan, but kind of he doesn't want to be Christopher Nolan.
I think that's a decent point. I can see where he's going to, but he doesn't get there.
Yeah,
and I think that's the issue.
And I think he's missing the point, as we said, or as we can reiterate. It's just wants more of the characters, but it's just the wrong things for the type of style of movie it is. And I get you want to go a darker, more mysterious type of vibe, but it's not really working at all.
No.
And I don't know why DC hasn't really just clicked, even though I'm sure they've made some sort of money, but the films, you can't make it a Marvel film. You can't make it lighthearted, obviously, because they don't want to be...
You can, but you just, with certain characters like Flash, I would want to be a lighthearted venture, but then I feel like Batman you can make dark, but then Superman shouldn't be so dark, Like, I feel like you can do a light, but not have to copy Marvel.
Even what you were saying before, like Wonder Woman, like, even it looks filmed dark, and it's like, but this is Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like,
it looks like they took it, and then, I don't know if you ever saw those, how they filmed Superman, or Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And then they, like, put, like, a fucking Instagram filter over it.
Yeah.
And they made it darker than it had to be. And I've seen, like, images and, like, small clips of it recolored.
Yeah.
And it has a totally different feel to it.
Yeah.
Because Superman looks fun and light and colorful and not dark, and everything's dark and shitty, and it is in a barren desert or barren city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, I kind of just have a hard time.
I could talk about hours on how much I dislike Batman vs Superman, and Zack Snyder.
I wouldn't. I do dislike to a point, and for me, I wouldn't be talking about how much I dislike it. I just would talk about how disappointed I am in it.
Yeah, it's like a parent. I'm not mad.
Yeah,
I'm just disappointed.
Like, I definitely like it more than
just
you
expected
two.
better.
Oh, I want better, but it is a shame that at the end of this year that we might be saying that that's the worst comic film of the year. Because so far, Deadpool and Civil War knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
I think Apocalypse will at least be good. Mm-hmm. Suicide Squad's only if we won. Doctor Strange, I think, will be great. So it's one of the things that if we end the year with that being like considered the worst one.
Doctor Strange is going to be a big dark horse. I think people are going to see it and be like, "Wow, that was great."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, if you agree with these comments, let us know. Let us know.
I'd love to know what you guys think about these.
You just gotta look Zack Snyder on Twitter, and then that's pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
People are already saying it, but yeah, no, that was our news. Thank you for tuning in. Find us on Facebook, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, all that good stuff. What is our next dynamic duo will be in 2 weeks, and we're going to be discussing our 5 favorite scenes of comic movies, because in honor of Civil War and that great airport scene that is clearly in our top 5s, but we're going to talk about before that what are some other ones. So thank you for tuning in, and when you hear from us next, it will not be boring.